This is your captain speaking. We are making our descent into Las Vegas McCarran Airport. On behalf of our crew, we'd like to thank you for flying MMAjunkie Airlines. Now please fasten your seatbelts and put your tray tables in your upright position because the descent is going to be a little bit bumpy.
Alright, Junkie Nation, it's time to roll, baby, on MMAjunkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Gold. This is what we doing while we do it, baby. All night long, we rollin'! Yes!
The MMAjunkie Radio revolution is upon us.
Can you dig it?
There's no escape. No escape. Through the vast frontier of cyberspace and through a sea of stars in outer space.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
We've solidified our combat communications stranglehold.
We are controlling transmission.
With the use of MMAjunkie Radio and SiriusXM satellite radio technology. MMAjunkie Radio. Commence transmission. Live from MMAjunkie Radio HQ in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Goes.
From the fight capital of the world, inside the beautiful Mandalay Bay Racing Sportsbook, you are listening to the MMAjunkie Radio Show. I'm your host, Gorgeous George. With me, as always, is the devious and dastardly Goes, our ace co-host back east, handling all the producing duties. It's going to be Danny. Sitting to my right, our co-host for the day, Extreme Couture's general manager and also head coach to fighters like Roy Nelson, Gray Maynard, Brian Caraway, Vinny Magalhaes. It's Eric Nixick. What's up, guys?
What's up?
What up?
How you doing?
It's good to be back.
You chose the music today, some of it, huh?
We did some.
You have some good taste.
Thank you. Danny said 90s, but I went with kind of 90s old school rap just because, I mean, that's my genre.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I heard Ice Cube, and I'll always bump it to Ice Cube.
Oh, man.
Belle Biv DeVoe was in there.
Yeah, we got
a lot of them.
Well, there's certain songs that I really like of Belle Biv. Well, I did back in the day, but, you know, you go through that whole regeneration of just appreciating music.
Right.
Right? It fades out, and you're like, come on, change that shit. It's played out.
Yeah.
10 years later, you're like, hey, they weren't bad.
Yeah. Dude, what about the tapes? I mean, having the stack of tapes of this, man.
Yeah. Do you guys remember
talking about the cassette tapes?
The cassette tapes.
Yeah.
Do you remember what your first CD was?
I do.
You do?
I'll tell you what mine is. Mine is horrible, but I bought two the same day, and the second one kind of makes up for it.
Okay, let's hear it.
But only if you guys tell yours.
I will.
Well, I just don't know if I'll know it, but I want to say maybe Aerosmith.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Or
I'm in the same ballpark as you with the two.
Okay.
All right, mine was House of Pain.
Okay.
And then the Batman soundtrack.
I like the Batman soundtrack. I got that one.
Remember
too.
that with
it was
Prince
only like 4 or 5 songs, right?
Yeah.
Mine was Martika, but also
what?
Martika.
Remember her?
She had one jam.
Yeah. And then the other one was Appetite for Destruction.
Oh, Guns N' Roses.
Yeah,
I think.
Trust me, when I checked out, one was on top of the other.
That's funny.
I went through a little bit of a rock phase too, or borderline heavy metal. But yeah, Van Halen, Aerosmith. That's when I got caught up in that, and then I went through the new wave.
Yeah.
So if there could be someone that calls in and goes, "Bitch, it was Culture Club or something like that," and out me, maybe even Wham. I don't know.
Right.
I'm trying to remember what came first, but I'm one of those binge guys.
Yeah.
Where once I started making dough, I'd waltz into a Target or a Sam Goody back in the day.
See, like
and
Ryan,
just go, give me 10 of them. Or did you ever order the ones in the TV guide?
Oh yeah, where you had to get
14 for a penny.
Yeah.
And then you're in the most fuck contract ever.
And then your credit's fucked out at the end of the day, dude. It was up to like maybe last year. Ryan Couture was still buying CDs because he enjoyed like the packaging and all this shit. I'm like, bro, yeah,
I have a friend like that.
Like, fucking go digital, homie. like he was still buying fucking CDs.
Or how about just buying DVDs? Target still has them out there. $5. You want them?
Just go digital.
$10 for one that came out lately, and then the thing John Romero has, where he subscribes and buys them but keeps them forever.
Yeah.
That and just going digital.
That's pretty cool. Serious.
Yeah.
You ever heard of that? Voodoo.
Yeah.
Aaron Fisher from Minneapolis says his first CD was REM. That ain't bad.
Yeah. That's
But do you remember how many DVDs you had? You actually had like.
You had the
DVD
wall.
station.
Yeah.
You could spin it, and there was like 25 on each side.
Yep.
He was so proud of it. But looking back, you spent a lot of money on that.
But you know what? It made a comeback because when we go back to our parents' house, I don't have any cable or DirecTV in my old room.
Right.
So all I do is watch those old DVDs, and I get a kick out of them.
On the computer?
No, on the TV. I have a DVD player, and I just hook it up, and that's what I watch.
Bring a chick home, and it was just the wall of DVDs.
Yeah, what do you want?
And then you had to get the surround sound too to go with it.
Yeah.
Did you ever have Goze's favorites?
Yeah.
I think I saw it on a TV show once. It might have been Seinfeld, where the guy brought a girl home and goes, "What do you want to watch?" But he also had his favorites.
His favorite was like stay in this
What would
category.
be in your favorites? What's a movie you just
man,
if it's on, you're pretty much
you know what's funny is I was on a flight and I noticed in my iTunes library when you start seeing the repetition of actors. Like I got a lot of Brad Pitt movies and I got a lot of Denzel movies. But one of my favorite movies of all time is still Man on Fire with Denzel. I know it's a remake.
Yeah. Is that in Mexico?
It was in Mexico City with Dakota Fanning. Like just the energy that he puts off in that.
La Voz the bad guy?
Yeah. He's like, motherfucker, I'm killing everybody. Blowing dudes up with suppositories and shit. Like he was on one. He was pissed, man. He messed with the wrong girl.
I wouldn't mind seeing that again. I like that one.
That was a good movie. Love Snatch. Snatch is one, man. I could watch that one.
No, that one's got
But what about movies?
I think I've seen it once.
I've been trying to get him to watch that movie for a long time. And he won't do it.
Really?
Snatch?
Yeah.
Isn't that based in the Guy Ritchie or something?
It's Guy Ritchie, yeah.
I think I started it and I don't know. Did it turn sci-fi or
no? Not at all. No.
Okay.
It's got some good twists
I'm
and
not a
turns
sci-fi guy. Yesterday we were watching Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
I'm on a Disney kick because I just went to Disney after so many years, right? And it brought back memories. So, Pirates of the Caribbean 3 was on, and I thought Johnny Depp does the character well. And
right.
I always thought Keira Knightley was, cute chick from the Bendham and Beckham days.
Right.
Bend it like Beckham days. So I was like, oh, she's in this? Okay, cool. So I'm watching it, and then they go, that's part 3. And I'm like, oh. So I stopped because I've always wanted to watch it. Pirates of the Caribbean was one of my favorite rides at Disneyland. So we found one. I'm watching one, and I see these guys in the colonial setup. So I'm going, is that George Washington or what's going on? Pirates. I love history. I love it when it's tied into history. And then all of a sudden, that guy comes out with the snakes.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck. So then now we can't know if you really killed him. Is it a dream?
Right.
Or that's what I don't like when it trips me out and you watch something and go, he was dreaming.
Right.
Like, oh, fuck. I like serious stuff. That's why I like drama.
Yeah. It just has a little bit of more reality flair to it.
So I kind of started tuning out and started scheduling the show.
Do you know what's been cool for me lately is now being able to go back and sit and watch movies with my kids that I watched. Like with McKenna, we watched Goonies. Ooh. And she's like, this movie's great. I was like, awesome. I'm glad you love it because it's one of my favorite movies, too.
That's one of yours, isn't it?
It's one of my favorite movies, and one of you have your goals when you're millionaires like Jay Leno. They have their cars, right? Their garage. Jerry Seinfeld. I've always said if I become a millionaire, the one thing I'm gonna collect that I think is gonna be pretty gangster is houses from movies.
There you go.
So I could tell people, the Home Alone house.
Yeah, got it.
You want to go?
Yeah.
The Nightmare on Elm Street house.
Let me go drop a paint can down
Halloween.
your face in the stairwell.
So I would buy the Goonies house. They
be
used to let people go through it.
Really?
People were really cool that lived there. And now they blocked it.
Where's
off.
that at? It's in
It's in Oregon. I think.
Oregon. Okay. Yeah, dude, that'd be rad.
Somebody's chiming in here and saying their favorite is Nellyville. Is that a show or an album? I don't even know what the fuck that is.
No, I don't know.
All right, somebody just said my favorite's Nellyville. I'm like, good for you. I don't know what that is.
How's Misha Tate?
The questions are coming in.
Yeah.
How's Misha Tate doing post-retirement and surgery? Has she been in, by the way, Eric?
Yeah, I saw her. She came to see me. She left for Mexico City to corner Gustavo in Nictoli. And she texted me. She says, hey, are you at the gym? I go, yeah. She goes, okay, I'm coming to see you. Came in, brought me like a hot dog and gave me a big old hug. And she said, I'm gone for a week. I'll see you when I get back. So we sat in the office and chatted up for a little bit.
Like one of those Costco's? Nice.
It's like an AM PM hot dog. Like, you're in retirement.
Are you the hot dog guy? Or
she just knows I eat anything. So she just says, like, hey, if I come in.
So let's say I wanted to pay you guys a visit one day. I haven't been in a while. Would you want me to bring you a Costco hot dog, or would you want me to go to Der Wiener Schnitzel?
I would never critique it. I'm just going to eat it. I don't even look at it sideways. I'm just not that guy.
Just destroy it?
I'm a grubber.
Is one enough? Should I bring two?
You can bring as many as you want. It's going to get taken care of. One is always nice, but food, I'll take care of food.
I know
it doesn't
where
last long.
It's either Chipotle or Teriyaki Madness. You'll be good with them.
We went to Mish and a bunch of us went to Melting Pot, and they had told me, they're like, hey, we're going to comp your guys' bill. And you
Melting
can ask.
Pot said that?
Melting Pot said
Because of Misha?
Well, it was like friends of mine that we knew, but they
Oh.
also like, hey, if you can bring them in. We're like, yeah, sure. And they love Melting Pot. And you can ask her that story. I ate 16 lobster tails at Melting Pot.
Damn.
16 lobster. And they were like, hey, bro, if you want more. I was like, this is just getting out of control.
16, dude?
16 lobster tails.
How big were
Like,
they?
did you just get to a point where you
Dude,
wanted to top yourself?
They were
or
like
is that the
the
kind of
size
appetite
of
you
the
have?
phone. I can, man, and I ate the whole, and I just can eat. I'm a freaking
Shit.
Viking, bro.
Can
I'll
you
eat.
do, how many churros was it, George? 16?
15.
15 churros at
At
Disneyland? Could
Disneyland.
you eat that?
Probably.
Max Holloway did that.
Probably. Is he diabetic now? Or?
He had that. And he had
I
a
had two, that was
churro
good.
cake at the
Yeah.
end, too.
I was 2. If you would have said, here, you started dangling money, I could probably get to 5, but there's no way I could
Did
do
you get
more
the
than
turkey
that.
leg in, though?
No.
You didn't get a turkey leg at Disneyland?
No. But I did see a lot of that. So is that a big
Oh,
thing?
yeah, they're good.
I started thinking, what's with that? You know, like I didn't really need
It is kind of off-putting, though. You're seeing somebody walk around with a big old
I saw
turkey
that
leg.
on Main Street.
Like, what the fuck? Where'd you get the turkey leg?
Yeah. All right, so I guess just to follow up and finish up the Misha deal, do you think she'll ever be back? Is that an opinion you can even lay out? or?
Yeah, I mean, I think she could. You know, I was surprised.
125, I feel like if they come out with that might
Yeah.
be what brings Misha Tate back.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think that she had a lot going on, and she just needed some kind of time to decompress, you know. And then in the camp with Pennington, you know, I just didn't feel like she seemed like herself, and I think a little time off for her is going to do her well. I know she wants to compete and do the grappling stuff, so she's going to stay active. Which we kind of spoke about. I don't know if I can say, but I know everybody was enjoying her commentary on Fox.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's something she continues to do, because that's something you can always fall back on.
Right.
Always fall back on the commentary side. I think she's a beautiful face. Not only that, she brings a woman's element into that booth, so which I think now, with the way the landscape of MMA has kind of played out, she's going to have a place.
You are right. I'm telling you, there is something to be said. Our editor-in-chief sends us the analytics every day.
Mm-hmm.
Women's MMA, it pops. There's
It's
stories that
huge.
pop.
Man, we did a kids tournament over the weekend at Couture's, and I shit you not, the girls in there were just ragged on the fucking boys left and right. And it's a testament to what these women have done in MMA to bring a whole new demographic into this sport.
Yeah.
And it's great for me being the father of 2 little girls, and you guys see me, I hold pads for my kids all the time. I work with my kids.
yesterday.
Yeah, and it's just something. I think it's empowering these women to feel like, hey, I can go in and I can hang with these guys, or I can be just as good. These girls are headlining cards now, you know, and it's important for them to do that.
Did you go to Extreme yesterday?
No, I saw a video of him holding pads for his daughter.
I knew Tuesdays is a big day. I was just this close to going yesterday.
Monday was cranking. We had 30
Was it?
guys in there on Monday.
Wow.
It was cranking.
Well, I think 25 could lure her back, but I'll tell you what, you stand back and look at her career, to be a Strikeforce champ and a UFC champ, that ain't bad. Even if that's it, that's a wrap.
And she was doing it when women's MMA was still like,
And she kind of fought everyone, right?
She did.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not too many names out there
For
that
a
she
lot
didn't
less
fight.
money that a lot of fighters
Right.
get
That's
today.
the thing. I always
Right.
wonder if that early 30 retirement, God, that's when those bigger contracts start showing up.
sure.
And that's like when you look and you go 120 and 120 if you win, and
Yeah.
that along with anything else that comes with it. You know, those are some
She
life-changing
was
checks.
hurt bad with that Reebok deal too, because you think about the sponsorship that she used to get. I mean, she probably kept a lot of them, but maybe not to the degree as she had when she can walk out with it and wearing it. That Reebok deal killed her.
Can you clear something up since he brought it up? 125. If that were ever an option, we've always said that she would probably plug in there very nicely.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think the one thing people are going to point to is, remember that picture that was posted for, I think, 200, her weight cut?
Mhm.
That seemed very difficult.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Is it because she's gotten maybe a little bit older that may be out? Or do you think it would still be an option on the table, 125, if she came back to fight?
I think this last weight cut went great for her in the Pennington fight. But I think the one prior in the Nunez fight, she just had some troubles leading up to it. It might have been just a hiccup on the way out, like, you know, maybe not water loading correctly.
I don't remember her ever having issues before that at all.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, we've actually talked about her going down to 125. That was always a consideration when they opened that 125-pound division up. And that was kind of the thought was, you know, you got JJ at 15s and Misha 25s, and then at the time was Ronda, and then hopefully open up a 45 for Cyborg. which would have made a lot of sense. It just didn't have enough depth in the women's organization, women's divisions to do that. So I think she can easily get down to 25 if she wanted to.
Dude, Chasm from Toronto really wanted me to get that Misha question in. He fired 3 off. He said, "Hey Eric, how's Misha Tate doing post-retirement surgery?" Then he wrote, "Gorgeous George, ask Eric how Misha Tate is doing post-retirement surgery." Then he wrote, "Thank you, Eric. Talking about Misha, I miss her." I think he's got a crush.
You think he has desk on?
We miss her too, man. Like her energy in the gym is great. She helps. She really does, man. She gets in there. She helps all the female fighters. But just having her around. I mean, just having her around the gym and her energy and her light, I think is always important for us. So, I stay on her. Hey, get in here, get in and train, come hang out.
You know what I remember seeing at the gym is a little girl one time sitting on the bench,
watching her
and looking at her and going, "Whoa."
Yep.
When Misha walked in, and I remember me being a kid, that'd probably be like what I would be like if like Eric Dickerson walked into the room or Magic Johnson.
Yeah,
they're those people now.
Do you remember any time or the first time you were starstruck?
Yeah, probably professional wrestlers.
Professional wrestlers.
I remember the Legion of Doom. Remember them?
The shoulder pads.
Yeah, they were like behind the curtain,
dudes,
warming up, and I remember just thinking, "Holy crap!"
How about you, Eric?
Yeah, probably Randy, I think. I mean, I remember I walked into Couture's and they weren't open yet. And we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary coming up in February.
I saw that.
And I remember walking in and they weren't open yet, but they were training. And I went in there. There was not even tile on the ground. They had a cage in the corner, and he was in there getting ready for the Tim Sylvia fight. And I went in expecting to get like the sales pitch for the gym. And these dudes were just beating the shit out of each other. And he's like, "Hey, man, yeah, come back." He goes, "We'll be open this time, but you can come in and train." And I was like, "Well, I don't really know a whole lot." And then I remember Pyle actually spending some time with me and came out of his way to spend some time and rolled with a few of us that were there, and then we ended up becoming members. But yeah, I think for me it was Randy. Seeing Randy for the first time, like, oh shit, because watching him on VHS
But
tapes.
you grew up playing football. Was there a football moment?
Lawyer Malloy was big for me because I
love it. I love hearing a name that wasn't an obvious name. All right.
Yeah, Lawyer Malloy was
for the Patriots. He played, right? Safety?
Yeah. Well, I tripped up to University of Washington. As me and my middle linebacker Pete Battisti, we go up there to go check out the school, and Lawyer Malloy and Rashawn Sheehy were kind of our hosts, if you will. And Lawyer was, I believe he was done with school or leaving early to go to the NFL, if I remember correctly. I mean, this is freaking so long ago. But I just remember watching the way that guy played college football as a safety. He just brought it. And that was a guy where I remember seeing like, okay, this specimen is what I have to become in football.
Right.
And we actually, when we met those guys, they were in the weight room. And I remember just that resonating with me going, okay, this is what big time football is about.
Right.
It's just clanging weight and getting in there and getting after it.
You?
Can I name a couple or just narrow it down to one?
I have one more, so I would
okay, I have a couple. One was I went to a Laker game. I was always have been and still am a Laker fan. And so I'm more of a Magic era guy. But I remember one time I saw them after a world title. There was a club called the Roxy in Hollywood. And there was a private club above the Roxy called On the Rocks, which is where they bypassed what was their version of paparazzi back in the day, just a couple guys, not like it is now. And I just remember seeing them after the world title. I remember Byron Scott walked in, James Worthy, and
that's your squad, right?
I just remember going, damn, not only are those like the Lakers, not only are we just on a high because we won a world title, but man, their wives are fine.
Yeah.
And then Magic rolled in, not with Cookie, by the way.
Right.
With one that trumped even those two. And I just went, damn. I just remember they were just big dudes. And then one time at the Laker game, do you remember a guy named Chuck Nevitt?
No.
Chuck Nevitt and Kareem and just these 7-footers. Michael Thompson's like 6'11". And one time I snuck to the bottom. I had nowhere to sit. So I was just kind of walking around like pretending I was looking for my seat. But, they're running back and forth. Fucking 7-footers on a basketball court. Right. They're enormous.
Yeah.
And I just remember going like, whoa, like my breath was taken away. And this was me as a high schooler. It wasn't as a kid.
Right.
But that one, then I remember seeing Junior Seau at the Rio.
Junior Seau.
And I was Junior Seau.
Yeah.
at the Rio, and I was a big USC guy. So it was cool seeing him in an environment that I was in as well. You know, so it was like, oh, man, someone who's balled at USC. You know, he's a god down with the Chargers, and he's here just being a real dude. So I was almost like, for 10 minutes, almost just watching him. He had every right to tell security, like, what's wrong with that dude, you know?
Right.
I was just watching to see what he ordered, what he was wearing. You know, I just thought he was kind of cool. He was a man back in the day.
Yeah.
I would say those are big ones. And then here's one, our dad. Have you met our dad?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw him get starstruck. We were at the USC UCLA. It was either a dual meet or it was the Pepsi Invitational at USC. It's called Drake Stadium. It was track and field. And I remember we were sitting there, and Jim Brown walked by.
The man.
And he goes, you know who that is? And I go, no. And he goes, that's Jim Brown.
Yeah.
Like he was talking slow because I think he was soaking it in, you know? And he was saying, he goes, that's the best player I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And, like, I could just tell, I think part of him was like, I want to take, not even a picture. We weren't doing selfies.
Just something.
I think just shake his hand, say something. I remember him going, do you want anything? And I go, no. So I don't know if he went and did it while I stayed there or what. I think he just wanted to pass him by again. But he literally was just like, whoa, that's the man.
The man. That was my dad's guy, too.
Ghetto man, and he fights in a ghetto way.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I was going to say? You were talking about how massive athletes are.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't realize this, but think about like who your friends, whatever the tall guy in that bunch is, he's probably the size of a point guard in the NBA.
Yep.
When you see those guys, they're tall, dude.
big,
They look
man.
small on TV, but they're actually big. So you can imagine what a power forward.
Remember the guy with the
center looks
unibrow,
like.
Davis, when they were staying here? Was it the
Anthony
Hornets
Davis.
or the
Anthony Davis.
Pelicans?
Yeah, Anthony Davis.
He was staying here, and I just remember going, God damn, that dude's big. And he's only about 6'8", 6'9", 6'10".
Right.
But I'm telling you, man, you get to 7'1", 7'2", 7'4", and maybe the Laker court, now that I think about it, may have risen a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're walking by, they still have like an additional maybe foot up. But I just remember going, God, like, fuck, like, these are skyscrapers, you know?
Dudes, man.
I must have done like 3 circles just going, I can't believe this. Amazing.
I thought you were going to take mine when you said the Lakers, but I remember another one where I was starstruck was the first time I met Chick Hearn. I remember thinking he's tall.
Yeah, he's tall,
I think I might have even said, like, wow, you're tall. He's super tall.
He's 6'6".
Really?
Yeah, he's tall.
It's crazy
man.
because what's Steph Curry? He's probably 6'3", 6'4".
6'3", yeah.
He looks like a little dude out there with those guys.
I
you
know.
know, in
Allen
comparison.
Iverson was 6'1", I think.
Yeah, that dude can ball. Do you ever see his football stuff?
He's part of that 3-on-3 league now, right?
Is he for football or does
No,
he play
for
basketball?
basketball. They have
Probably.
Somebody opened up a 3-on-3 league, like
Dude,
a rapper or something
Virginia
like that.
Beach, when he was a quarterback.
Allen Iverson?
Allen Iverson was the Mike Vick before Mike Vick in football. You watching that dude? Google some
Football, huh?
Allen Iverson football highlights. Unbelievable.
I know he had skills. He was the Big East defensive player in the year. He wasn't even like their MVP or scored the most.
Yeah.
He had those kinds of skills, and then he just developed into an amazing point guard.
Unbelievable. Yeah, some of his football stuff is crazy. And he was just, at the time, just those kids that played quarterback, that were the athletic, movable types of kids, they just moved him to receiver. Like Peter Warwick was a quarterback in high school.
I remember
Just
him,
to
Florida State too.
And boom, he's a receiver.
Yeah.
Should have won the Heisman that year, but he got in a little trouble.
He likes clothes.
Was he lifting clothes at Dillard's? Is that what it was?
He was buying one pair
Him
of
and
clothes.
Lavernius Coles, I think it was.
It was
him.
with him.
Yeah, Lavernius.
That's why Lavernius Coles in the pros, he would never, you know how they would say, like, Lavernius Cole, wide receiver, he would never say, he'd just give his high school.
Yeah.
Because he was still
Really?
pissed off at that.
Oh, he's the one that lifted clothes.
Right. He would say Dillard's.
Who has the best one on Monday night? Is it the U or the Ohio State?
I'm a Knoll man, so I don't like either of those. So, but yeah, I think
guess the U's.
I think the U's.
That is pretty funny, huh?
Because if
The
you
U.
remember, like the U, they just had an aura about them.
Swagger. Yeah.
A swagger that they were just gonna roll it out and they were gonna beat the shit out of you. Didn't matter who you were.
We played Notre Dame once, and I think it was a series back and forth.
Home and home.
Isn't that convicts versus
They called it convicts versus
Yeah.
Catholics, but
Yeah.
they embraced it.
On that.
Oh yeah,
they embraced it. A lot of them got off in actual fatigues.
Mhm.
Usually you would think a suit or something.
Nope.
Yeah, they got off in fatigues and glasses, and
But
I'm
Jimmy
sure if
Johnson
Dre
was
Beats would have been
perfect
around,
for
they would have
that.
had those
Yeah,
on
yeah.
too.
But I mean, Jimmy Johnson in that era was kind of like, he reminded me of Madden. When Madden had he had those guys back in the Raider days, like Jack Tatum and George Atkinson and Skip Thomas and those football players. Like, if you ever read Jack Tatum's book, They Call Me the Assassin, if you're a Raider fan at all, even just a football
I would read
fan.
it because I love that player. It was a good player.
Unbelievable book. But just some of the stuff that Jack Tatum talks about what these guys would get away with and shit. Like, I think it was Skip Thomas ended up getting hurt, but he loved his Harley. So his Harley was parked at the hospital. He didn't want to leave it outside. So he fucking drives his Harley through the fucking hospital and parks it in the hospital.
Really?
In his hospital room. Just crazy stories. Lyle Zato and then
I can only imagine.
just that crew. Howie Long when he was coming up. And it's all in this book. They Call Me the Assassin. Great book by Jack Tatum, especially if you're a Raider fan, man. It was unreal.
Google. We're gonna go to commercial right now, but Google Jack Tatum's hit on Sammy White from the from the
Blasphemous.
See if we can put it up here on YouTube when we come back. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. We got Eric Nixick in the house.
Blew his whole headpiece out.
They were forged from the same ball sack, but act as though they've never met. They are the brothers Garcia, Gorgeous George and Goes.
Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, the AFC takes on the NFC in the 2017 Pro Bowl from Orlando, Florida. Hear NFL greats compete live and inspire the next generation of stars and fans. Listen to the game on SiriusXM, NFL Radio, Channel 88, and on the SiriusXM app. All right, Goes, you going to show us that hit?
I sure am.
This is Jack Tatum on Sammy White. I already have a Minnesota Vikings fan complaining why we're showing this particular footage. This is in the Super Bowl, but to give Sammy White credit, he catches this ball.
He does, but I don't think he played after this.
This is Fran Tarkenton, a great scrambler.
Left his boy hanging.
Oh, see that? That's not the ball. That's the helmet. Do it one more time. That's his helmet that comes off. Jack Tatum, man.
Stands over him.
Hard hitter.
Looming over him.
Got him.
Boom.
Did they hit him? That's a helmet that went off.
Wow. If you're Sammy White, you walk back to that huddle and you punch Fran Tarkenton right in the face for leaving him hanging like that.
Crushing blow. The Raiders went on to win that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The reason I know that is because the Vikings never won one.
You're right.
Who are you a fan of in the NFL?
I'm not, man. I'm not. I was I guess you could say I was a Charger fan, and I kind of have been for a while, but just some of the
San Diego Chargers or the LA Chargers?
Well, just the front office stuff in the past few years, especially with the Eric Weddle situation and a couple other things. I just so I'm a college guy. I love Florida State. That's my team, and that's kind of where all my energy goes is to my college team. Pros,
but you're rooting for a guy for 3 years, 4 years, and then when they go away, don't you want to follow them? Or
I don't invest too much in it as much with the pros.
Sounds to me like if we ever had a Super Bowl party, Eric would be okay making drinks.
I'd be eating.
He wouldn't even care about the game.
Food.
He'd be like, yeah. It's not
usually,
college, so
I'm the guy
What are you drinking?
under the Jaeger machine and then eating all your food.
Has anybody taken a look, Goes or Eric, at the new UFC building or campus they're building?
Yeah.
There's a video of it, but have either of you walked it yet?
I haven't, and actually a friend of mine that's building this, he talked to me about coming down and he was going to show me around.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, he's actually.
So he's the contractor or something?
He's the contractor for it. Good friends with the Fertittas, shocking enough.
Oh,
But
wow.
really, really good dude, yeah. Cheech. And he said, next time you're around, man.
You think he brought the Fertittas like a pie and an envelope underneath?
It's
I really need this
we
contract.
talked about this, man. Like, it's
I
crazy.
really need this building.
How these Gorman guys, and these are Gorman guys in the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, how they just take care of each other. They've built this kind of fraternity bond of, you went to Gorman, and they've had these relationships. And
when people ask me about Vegas, I always say I didn't like it the first year, but then when I became, I guess, a local,
right?
Locals do take care of locals.
They take care of each other, man.
Yeah, that is impressive about this.
You like it now, though, right?
Yeah, I do like it now.
Yeah.
But when I go back to Cali, man, that weather's beautiful, except for this massive El Nino storm that hit them lately. Mm-hmm. The drought is over, though. But, yeah. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about, up until recently, the UFC had no champions booked for any fights. That's how much they exhausted their roster in late 2016, and it was in a great year, man. I think they had 5 pay-per-views go over 1 million. That's what was a banner year. They sold. They got their dough. But now WME, first quarter, there's only one title fight up until recently that was on the books, and it was for a new division, D. Randami and Holm, right? So that's a division that will just be created that night. Since then, they've booked an interim title, Nurmagomedov and Tony Ferguson, and they booked Tyron Woodley and Stephen Thompson. However, we are hearing, I'm putting the pieces together because Kevin Aioli was here the other day, and he said they're going to Dallas in May. And so now we found out UFC 211 is in Dallas, but he also somehow connected dots. And I've seen other websites also putting it up there. It looks like JDS will get the shot against Stipe Miocic. Bypassing Verdum, who kind of stirred the pot a little bit. He wanted some more dough, and Kane fell out.
Right.
Kane had surgery, so he's kind of out of the equation. So that's kind of what happens when you maybe stir a little bit too much.
I like that fight, though.
Yeah, and they fought before.
Scrap.
So Stipe gets a chance to right that wrong.
Yeah.
And JDS has quality wins, including one coming off Ben Rothwell, who was a contender.
Correct.
So he's in the mix, and I think it works.
Stylistically, that fight is going to be, the first one was a great fight. Yeah, I like that fight. I actually like that fight more than the others.
Junior can't afford to have another fight like that, though. He needs to fight smarter. He's taking
Well, he has
way
been.
too many shots.
He has been. I noticed that, yeah. He was tentative for a while, especially in that Overeem fight. In fact, both him and Overeem were tentative. And that's why someone had to pay eventually because there's just too much dynamite in these guys' hands.
Well, you're thinking about, like, you're talking about how there haven't been very many title fights booked. And, I mean, you got to imagine because of what we had or late last year, that's kind of what you want to do if you're going to sell a company, right?
Yeah.
Just throw all your big fishes out there. Go, look at these numbers.
Right.
We knew it was going to come down eventually.
No one's ever sailed off into the sunset like the Fertitta brothers.
Just
that sail and
just
avoiding the problems. Oh, it's an incredible walk-off. It really is, man. For one,
flip.
$4.2 billion on that investment. And then, obviously, now these athletes are like, pay me more. I know I just signed a contract. Pay me more. And then, of course, there's weight-cutting issues, There's concussion issues.
Yeah.
There's USADA. They don't have to answer any more of that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, I could picture Lorenzo really, really on a fucking yacht just getting grapes fed to him and not a cell phone on him. He doesn't care. You guys can reach out to me in about a week.
Well, I think what the sale has done is it's put numbers on the company.
Yeah.
Before in the past, you knew they were making money. You didn't really know what it really was.
Right.
You really didn't know. And then when you start talking in the B's, the billions, you're like, oh shit. And then as an employee or as a fighter for the organization, you go, hold on.
But how about that pushback from WME? So we'll take the Verdum case, for example, or even GSP, or even a few of the others. Lorenz Larkin still hasn't signed anywhere.
Right.
They're basically still saying, yeah, you found us out. We made, or this is worth 4.2. Yeah, we disclosed Connor $3 million and Nate $2 million and blah, blah, blah and all that. So now when these other athletes are going, what about me?
Right.
When am I getting paid? And where's my cut? They still have the power to go, it ain't you, dog.
Right.
It's these 3 letters.
Yeah.
So this is the offer. We added a little bit more because, you found us out.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to go try Bellator or World Series or something else?
Go for
Be
it.
my guest. I thought fighters were going to get some leverage. Some of them are, some of them aren't. Tony Ferguson apparently got something.
Yeah.
Because he wanted a little bit more. But he at least walked in going, I'm a tough winner.
Right.
I've won 9 straight. I just performed in Mexico City. I talk shit.
Puts on a
I'm
show.
Coy. Right. So I think he had more bargaining power. So, again, the fighters better catch up and make sure they're coming strong to these negotiations.
For sure.
You come strong, you have a good shot.
Yeah.
But if you're just like, I'm one of the bunch, no, sorry, it ain't going to work out.
You know what? I look at that situation, and I say that's still a win for the UFC, and I'll tell you why.
Which one?
Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson's probably happy. He probably got something close to what he wanted. But what the UFC got was now Conor doesn't have to face both of them.
Oh,
Only has
I
to
know,
face
yeah.
one. So in the
There's
long
so
run, they're
many
thinking,
subplots.
all
Yeah,
right,
you're right.
paying this dude saves us from having to throw our champion against one of these 2 monsters.
Correct.
Yeah, because that is the golden goose.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, sure is.
I don't care who wants to admit it or not, and I tip my hat for Conor destroying 2 world champions.
You would do it too if you owned
But
the UFC.
he
You would do
he
the
obviously
same thing.
he's a conductor as well, and
Yeah.
he's like, he knows when you want to do this and take it down,
Right.
so he's up there as
The
well.
best at it.
Yeah, he's really, really good at it.
Yeah.
Michael Bisping saying he wants a money fight. Bisping, you got Romero coming up. You got Dan Henderson when you really shouldn't have, but we get it. You put in your time. We have to respect that. Yeah, it was
What's
going to
the
be in
money
Manchester. He says either GSP or Anderson, but
He has already fought Anderson.
I know, but it will pay him more. I get where he's coming from because he doesn't have many fights left, I believe.
Right.
But he did leave the out that if it's Romero, it's Romero. But I think it just has to be Romero.
I mean, wouldn't you think, though, if you're defending your title, that those title fights should be garnering a lot more money than just
I just think that if you promote Bisping versus Anderson and Bisping versus Romero, one's going to generate, let's say, 700,000 views, and the other one's going to generate maybe 400,000.
Do you think?
So I think he's thinking, man,
yeah.
it's the same training camp.
Right.
It's a beast on either end. This guy can strike, this guy can wrestle, or whatever. But I walk away with an extra mil, maybe is what he's thinking.
Do you think the UFC's building Romero enough? Like, do you think enough people know about him?
No.
Not really.
I don't think so either.
Same thing
And
with
I'm wondering
Jacare.
why. Huh?
Yeah.
Same thing with Jacare.
Jacare. I think Masvidal's marketable. Sorry. If he beats Cowboy, that's huge for him.
Dude, what a fight.
Who do you think wins that?
Oh man, I've trained with George, man. I love the guy. I it's a toss up. I mean, when you look at the odds, you think that would be -110, -110. I really do. And you see George as a dog. I like betting dogs, to be honest with you. But if George gets that jab going, starts working that, I feel like that's kind of his way in and how he gets on guys.
I think it's whoever leads the dance.
Exactly.
Whoever leads the dance is going to win that fight.
Yeah, what a scrap. That's a freaking.
Cerrone's kicks, though, man. Masvidal cannot just.
And that's the thing too.
That those don't exist.
If
they're coming to the head, to the body, to the legs.
Yep. He starts chopping away at you, man. You're especially if you fight him in space. He's gonna have to kind of get him cornered and press him a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
What a fight, though. Mm-hmm. I can't wait for that.
The bantamweights revealed their coaching staffs. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I saw.
So it's Garbrandt versus Dillashaw for Tough 25, kind of like the comeback season.
Mm-hmm.
And poor Gerald Harris. Did you hear that he tore his knee?
No, I didn't.
I think he was going to be on the show.
Yeah.
I think I saw his name listed, and he tore his ACL.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But I believe him getting accepted, and I think they've always had a soft spot for him, at least Dana has.
Uh-huh.
I think if his knee gets repaired, he can come back.
Yeah.
But we'll see, man. He's also older. But anyway, the coaches, they revealed their staffs. Dillashaw came with Lee Stribowling, who I guess unretired, or maybe this will be his little swan song here. The wrestling coach. He also had
Elliot
Dillashaw.
Marshall.
Dillashaw.
Oh, yeah.
Lee Stribowling,
Elliot
Elliot
Marshall.
Marshall, jiu-jitsu coach, bowling, wrestling coach. Dwayne Ludwig is the striking coach.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Brown's just the overall badass coach.
Yeah.
And Dillashaw. That's a good staff, right?
They came in the gym on Monday. They were in the
badass.
gym on Monday hitting and hanging out and stuff. So.
All these cats?
Yeah, all of them came in. Dwayne hit me up, said, hey, I'm going to bring the guys in and get some work in. It was great to have those guys in. I think Falls is actually going to be on the show a little bit too and help him out.
Is he really?
Uh-huh.
Well, he's been like on the last 3 or 4 shows, right?
He has.
I've seen him a lot.
Yeah, he has. He helped out Benavidez. And then,
nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, have you ever been a coach on the
I haven't.
No?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
And then the other one is Cody Garbrandt. He's coming with Uriah Faber. I guess he can help out with wrestling. But so is Danny Castillo. Jiu-Jitsu ace, Fabio Prado, and then Robert Meese.
Mm-hmm.
So there's his staff. They like to fly guys in anyway from
Right.
time to time. So I'm sure maybe there'll be a Mendez appearance.
Yeah.
Can Mendez appear? No, right? Because it's under the guidance of a commission, suspended.
Yeah,
he may
I
not
don't
be able
know.
to show up.
But some good backstories in this season.
Yeah.
You know,
it's going to be a nice one. They'll build it up. I think there'll be some drama.
Yeah.
And then in the end, we'll get ourselves a good fight.
Some good backstories are going to come out.
You still like the show? I'm getting into it. The last 2 years I thought were good.
I haven't watched it as much. When Johnny was on, when Nunez was on there, I try to watch it. I try to watch a little bit when Corey and Roundtree were on there and Jamie, just because I know them. You know, try to cheer for those Vegas guys. So I'll peek at it every once in a while, but not to the capacity of what I used to watch it on.
Uriah popping in there.
Yeah. By the way, Eric, we have to take our next break in just a second, but what are the rules? So, Bang Ludwig said, can we come in? You said, yeah, they came in. Now what happens if someone from Garbrandt's team says, can we come in? Do you go, you may run into these guys?
No, not at all.
Or these are my guys, or they came first, or...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, Cody's been in numerous times. Cody's done drilling with myself and Ray and a few of us, and I like Cody a lot, man. I was a really, really good dude, and he's one of all these guys. So, yeah, I have no problem. If there was a situation when somebody hit me up and go, hey, I'm coming in, I would say, well, those guys are also here too. I'd let them know. But, yeah, they're guests are guests to me.
Got it.
Love to have them in. And you know me, man. I always try to keep an open door for all these guys, give them a safe place to train. Plus, you've been in the gym, man. It's 24,000 square foot. One guy can go there, the other guys can go upstairs. It's no problem.
Yeah, all right. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM, Rush 93. When we come back, we'll talk to Marco from Waco, Scott from Utah, and if you want to join in on the queue, it's 866-522-2846. Don't forget, we also have, remember, on the front page of MMA Junkies, the preview to the show. It'll tell you who's coming on. We also have Tito Ortiz, the People's Champ, the Huntington Beach Bad Boy, former UFC light heavyweight champ, current UFC Hall of Fame member, and a victor over Chael Sonnen at Bellator 170. He'll be joining us in the second hour. We'll be right back after this break. fourth,
Right.
or
Coming
fifth.
back.
It's possible,
Yeah.
you know. Ooh.
They are the stretch marks on the underbelly of the MMA community. But hey, stretch marks are the new tats. They are Gorgeous George and Goes.
All right, let's just jump to some phone calls here, and then I'll keep scanning over the news to get Eric Nixick's opinion, Goes' opinion. I'll throw mine in as well. A lot of news last 24, 48 hours. Of course, we're still talking Bellator 170. I think we kind of put the fix talk to rest there with Big John McCarthy in-house yesterday. And let's not forget, man, this weekend we also have another event. It's UFC on Fox 23 with great matchups. That's Cerrone-Masvidal matchup, Shevchenko and Pena, great fight.
Just look at the odds.
Sun
Look how
Tzu and
close the
Sterling.
odds are.
Yeah. And then there's one other one I'm missing. What am I missing? There's another high-ranked fighters.
You got
Ngannou.
Orlovsky and Ngannou.
That's right. Yeah, it's a
That
sick
dude's
fight.
scary, bro.
I know. All right, here we go. Marco from Waco's been waiting the longest. What's up, Marco?
Marco from Waco, que pasa, Varos and Eric.
What's up?
This is like the weird part of the week when you try to put to bed the past event, Bellator, and try to start looking forward to the next one, the home day. So, let's talk about Los Ngannou, man, because of all those fights, that's the one that I really want to pay attention. Heavyweight is always kind of sort of like one of the shallowest of divisions. But Ngannou and, you got Ngannou and Lewis, the two biggest prospects. They're going to fight soon, and Ngannou this weekend. I'm really paying really, really close attention to this guy, man. I mean, I don't want to say Arlovsky short, but if he gets past Arlovsky, what do you guys think is next for Ngannou? Because you cannot mix around with no names anymore. You got to throw him into the chat time. We'll let you guys catch you next time.
Thank you, Marco. What is next for Ngannou if he could get past Arlovsky?
Well, he definitely goes up a tier, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Oh,
I've been
yeah, you
keeping an
start
eye
talking
on
about-
him quite a bit because I think if we might fight him with Roy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's just
Roy,
one of those names where
Rothwell or whoever, maybe the winner of Brown and Lewis.
Yeah.
I don't want that collision with Lewis just yet because I feel those are two younger cats.
you could build those guys,
right?
For sure.
Yeah, only if they have to fight.
Yeah.
Verdum has no opponent, but yeah, I think that's the kind of graduating step you take if you beat Arlovsky.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm looking forward to that fight.
Next up is Scott from Utah. What's up, Scott?
What's up, boys?
What's up, man?
Hey, this weekend's fights, I know they're trying to build up the women's division, 135 division, but yeah, to me the biggest fight is Cowboy Masvidal, right?
Oh, 100%.
I mean, that should be headlining, and it's not headlining, and they're co-main event. Are we only getting 3 rounds?
Of Masvidal and Cowboy, yeah.
I totally hear you,
Yeah.
but you got to look back at Shevchenko and Holm on Fox was huge in the ratings.
Yeah.
There's no way they would have
Because
put
Cowboy
them on
in Denver should be a main event type of fight, and it's not. So, yeah, I think Goes is right. He nailed it. The women have delivered on Fox. Paige Van Zandt and Watterson did well, too.
Yeah, I'm with Scott though, man. Like you look at two guys that they've have the body of work, and those are two guys that have laid it on the line for so many years that just the rewarding factor, saying you two are going to carry this main event, and put women aside. I'm just talking about body of work alone. And when you look at the card, that's the one that jumps. You go Masvidal and Cowboy, holy shit! I'd pay for that fight.
Right.
I think the one thing that stands out too with the females is they're one fight away from a championship fight
All the
so
time.
it's nice to see them 5 rounds and see what they got
Right.
going
Yeah.
forward.
Good question, Scott.
Yeah.
Was that fight huge, though, with Holm and Shevchenko because of Holm or Shevchenko? That's
Probably because of
are they going to draw that now? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Well, but Pena also came from tough. Both girls are attractive. I mean, it all goes into that equation of what's going to get us. And I think, I don't know, but I think when it comes to big Fox cards, maybe not the fight night, but when it comes to big Fox cards, you know how Fox has an influence over, like, if there's a pay-per-view and they go, okay, this is the one we want for Fox Sports 1 leading into the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So obviously they chime in. They may just have analytics that go, listen, man.
I was just about to say that.
Chicago, the ladies delivered.
Yep.
We they're not hardcores like us, so they're like Masvidal, Cowboy, yeah, it should be a sick fight. We want ratings.
They have so much more
Might boil down
information at their fingertips than you and I would. And
Right.
on paper, we look at it and go, wait a minute.
Right.
And they go, hold on. We could tell you that 80% of our viewers were female, and it was this, and it was this, and this, and it just blows it out of the water. You go, okay.
yeah, that's what it boils down to. Thanks, Scott, for the call.
Okay. All right, guys.
All right.
See ya.
One more. Chicago is in the house. It's Hal from Chicago. What's up, Hal?
Yo, what's up? How you doing, Eric?
Hey, how you doing, brother?
You getting in shape, man? May's right around the corner.
Bro, I'm going to put it on you guys. I'm going to put it on you guys. I can't wait. I'm just glad you remembered.
That's right. Hey, this is the Super Bowl for me.
Yeah.
It's Masvidal Cowboy.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, not you guys. You ain't no Super Bowl.
Oh.
Don't even be there. But you guys are like the
Holiday Bowl.
step up from the
Why are you stirring up the pot? You're not even going to be there. They're going to take it out on us.
Hey, when is the game? Is it like Tuesday?
It's on a
Wednesday?
Tuesday. Yeah, this bowl isn't getting until like Thursday or Wednesday.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, luckily, it is flag, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah, it is.
Yeah, all right.
You think I'm crazy? Mama didn't raise no food.
Yeah.
We're down to a minute.
Hey, okay, Masvidal Cowboy. Everybody's on Cowboy. They're sleeping on Jorge, man. This is the kind of gangster that gives Cowboy problems. I know everybody's saying the lack of activity from Jorge is going to lose the fight, which totally could be possible. But I see him landing that vicious left hook to the liver and drop him Cowboy. But I love both those guys.
Yeah.
So,
And Cowboy has been dropped from liver shots before.
He has.
You know, so that he's not far off.
And I think the lack of activity for George in the past has been when he's been at 55s and had those tough weight cuts. I think at 70s I've seen this guy just put a lot of volume out. And we talked when he came in the gym after the Ali Quinta fight. He's like, bro, I'm moving up to 70s. I just can't make these cuts anymore. And you've seen that improvement in these guys, especially getting up there and not having to worry about the weight.
Hal, we're up against the clock. All
right, man.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the call.
All right, Hal. Take care, brother.
All right, folks. That's the end of the first hour. Still got one more to go. Tito Ortiz will join us at the end of the second hour. So the lines are wide open at 866-522-2846. Join us there.
Never be the same again.
going, oh, there's a better line over here, and then you forget about your original time.
You're on that rabbit's hole of internet searches and shit. And, yeah.
YouTube's the worst.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Spider-Man and freedom, full effect. You ready, Ron? I'm ready. You ready, Dave? I'm ready, Slick. Are you? Oh yeah. Take it down. Girl, I must warn you. I sense something strange in my mind. Yo, situation is serious. Let's cure it 'cause we're
Love them to both talk to each other a lot before songs start. Every song.
Do they?
Yeah. And then there's one.
What's up, pal?
Is it
What's up,
Motown
pal?
Philly? Where for no fucking reason
Yeah,
at
it was
all, a
Motown
guy just
Philly.
goes "Arrgh!" to start the song off. That's
Really?
how the song starts. Do you have that, Danny?
Play it, Danny, because I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Let me find it. I'll get it.
Like somebody walked in
Motown
and did something
Philly.
stupid, and then nobody said, "Hey man, you caught Vinny on."
Right, yeah. Chewbacca.
They're just like,
coming
fuck
in.
it, leave it in.
Well, let's see if you can find it, because I don't know what you're talking about. Motown is a reference to Detroit. So why is Motown Philly a song? That don't make no sense. It's like naming a song Windy City, L.A. or something.
See, it's funny because we never thought of that.
Big
back
Apple,
then. We just-
Miami.
Just like back then, you're like, oh yeah, Motown Philly. You know.
This is true. You think
Hey
that
Danny, did you go look for the CD or what's going on?
It takes forever for this program to load. Hold on.
Yeah.
Give me a second. I got it. Hold on.
Are you excited about King Mo versus Rampage? Part 2?
Yeah. I like King Mo though.
Yeah.
He's a good dude, man. He's a good dude.
Knowledgeable guy too, huh?
Yeah, and he came in and helped out some of Roy's camps, and just he's got a lot of good stuff, a lot of good knowledge, good energy.
Hey, you guys ready?
Hey, well, let me just say one thing. Rampage paid him a lot of respect, and I really think it had to do with those trips he's been making to Japan the last couple of years to fight in those open weights. That's pretty amazing, you know, because he's kind of a walk-around middleweight, but he fights at light heavyweight.
Yeah, he'll fight you at
So
heavyweight.
I know this Rampage goes, man. He goes, I respect you, man. You got in there with Crow Cop, because there's a lot of people that go, fuck that. You know, like that's literally 40 pounds
Look
more
what
than
happened to Vanderlei.
Right.
Huh?
Look what happened to Vanderlei. when
I
he fought
know.
him.
Yeah. All right, Danny. So this is Motown Philly, and Goes spotted something in the song that bugs the shit out of him. What is it? Let's see.
What the hell was that? That was really necessary to be in the song?
Yeah, it wasn't necessary.
It didn't make how did that make the cut?
It's the first thing.
There's
got to
be
the first thing that's
bro. There's got to be a funny, just underlined backstory that those guys just.
Well, what does the
giggle
guy
about.
tell him? Play it again, Danny. What does the guy tell him? He says something. See if you can catch it. Don't cuss or don't. It don't matter. Just don't cuss.
So maybe they were going back and forth. They said, dude, you curse all the time. And the guy just went, like that. And then he said, I don't know. It just makes no sense.
Yeah, it doesn't fit.
That is pretty dumb. All right, I'll give you that
How
one.
did I make the editing real?
Someone said, yo, that's dope.
Yeah.
Keep it in there.
Wow.
Fans, if you're in Denver or you're going to Denver for UFC on Fox 23, the UFC has invited you all, because sometimes they close it. I don't know. They're not consistent with it. Many times they'll open workouts for the fans. Some other times they don't. But here is what's going on. The workouts take place at XDO Event Center on 1399 35th Street in Denver. Doors open to the public at 12:30 p.m. Mountain local time. Fighters will work out and meet with the media in 20-minute increments starting at 1 p.m. Scheduled to attend, Pena, Juliana Pena, 1 p.m. Francis Ngannou, 1:20. And it goes on from there. George Masvidal, Andrei Arlovsky, Donald Cerrone, and then they'll finish things off with Shevchenko at 2:40. So, again, fans are invited to that, and also the ceremonial weigh-ins, which kick off at 5 p.m. Mountain Time at the Pepsi Center. The doors for that will open at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. Remember, the official weigh-ins take place in the UFC host hotel, but they'll come out and they shouldn't even call it a weigh-in. I think what they should do is just call it face-offs, maybe.
Face-off, yeah.
Yeah.
They shouldn't even put them on the scale anymore.
Yeah, that's the stupid part. They should, as they're walking out, they should just go, Shevchenko weighed in at 135 today.
Yeah.
She meets Pena, and they just have them face off.
Right.
And maybe even like, because if you think about it, that's almost a waste of the fighter's time to get in a van and go do that.
Right.
So if you're going to do it, at least make something out of it.
Ask them
one question each, like Bellator. You know, like, you ready? You ready? You know, tell me something and let them say something. Let us get one last soundbite before their little pose down. Or
They talked about I think it was with Gray's fight. They were like, they're not going to do the ceremonial weigh-in. We're like, oh, this is awesome. You know, we just go weigh in and we have the rest of the day. So I think it's a waste of time. But the open workouts are fun, man. If you guys are around for that, go check it out. It's a very intimate setting, and you guys get to kind of see firsthand.
Now, not always are fans allowed, so maybe check in with the UFC. Sometimes I heard here in Vegas the last time 70 fans were allowed in, so it's limited because it's in the host hotel. So it's usually like in a ballroom or a conference room that they've designated as mat space or whatever.
I think we did both of ours for Roy's right in front of the sports book at MGM.
Oh, did you?
And then Caraway's we did at the Harley Davidson store.
I remember that one.
Yeah, we did that one there.
Speaking of Caraway, what can you update us there? I think you're a co-coach with Caraway with Flawless. He just dropped out of what was going to be a great fight with Rivera out there in Phoenix.
Yeah.
How bad is the setback in terms of we won't see him for a year, a month? What's the injury?
I don't know, man. He's been having some problems with his shoulder, and it's been an issue with him for quite a while. And just hoping he gets that taken care of and cleaned out. He had some seminars lined up and stuff that I don't know if he's going to put on the back burner because of the injury. So he just needs to get that taken care of and get back in, because you're right. That's one of those fights that can easily be a number one contendership spot. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Rivera's a stud, man. So getting in there and making sure you're 100% and got all your ducks in a row for that fight is imperative to fight a guy like Jimmy. So, it was on his best interest to
that was going to be a really good fight for both guys.
Great fight.
I still think Rivera made a mistake in not taking another opponent. He's already offered his explanation. I respect it. It's his career. But, man, you do that camp. He said it himself. I trained for 2 months. I'm upset.
Yeah.
Well, they were giving you someone, so there's your payday. There's your release. There's yet another chance for you to remind the fans, I'm Jimmy Rivera. The streak is even longer now if he wins.
Right.
So I looked at pluses and minuses, and I thought there was more on the plus
man.
side.
I've been on
him,
the flip side of that, where we've been the guy who's got a short notice. We're ready to go, and we've taken a fight, and literally my guy would lose.
Mm-hmm.
Or Shy Lindsay, we had a fight where we're fighting a kid who was actually fought the kid that Boston got robbed on.
That was terrible.
Terrible robbery. But we fought that same kid, and it was one of those where you look at the record, and records are for DJs, man. You see a 3-3, and you're like, oh, man, it's 3-3, and you start delving into it. Well, fuck, who's this kid fought? And his 3 losses were just unbelievable opponents, And then next thing you know, we end up getting triangled, and we're doing the promotion a favor by continuing to take the fight because, man, we had an 8-week camp ready to go. Why not take the fight? So it goes both ways a lot of those times. It's a calculated risk, and really, man, I leave it up to the guy. I leave it to the fighter. We all have a say, but hey, man, what's your gut tell you? Is this worth it? Do you feel like he goes, man, I'm ready to go. I want to fight, so we'll take it. And if you're preparing for a certain style and for 8 weeks, and then the opponent falls out, it's a calculated risk. You end up preparing for a catch wrestler, and then you end up getting a striker who's a southpaw. You're like, wait, I didn't prepare for this at all.
Mm-hmm. Do you know the answer before they even give it, just based on their look, their body language?
Sometimes, and same thing. It's just your gut, and you're like, man, it just doesn't sound right, doesn't feel right. Don't stay on something that you don't want to do.
Caraway takes a lot of heat for these pullouts.
He does,
and these lulls in fight activity.
Yeah.
Who's that? Me or you?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, he does.
Catch us up on Roy Nelson. Is he waiting for the fallout of a couple fights so that he has his opponent?
We can book an opponent. I think our suspension is up in April, but we can book somebody.
Oh, the one from
yeah.
Bigfoot. Okay.
Yeah, from the Bigfoot. But dude, he's been training.
Isn't it done? Wasn't it only 6 months? It got reduced.
It was reduced, I think, to 3.5 or I can't remember. But I think we're done in April.
Okay,
if I remember correctly. So we can book something up to then. But right now, all those guys in that top 8 are all booked up. So there's really no fight out there for us until some of this gets cleared up. But he's been in every day. He's been training. Heath Herring's been in the gym a lot. He actually had that fight out in Japan.
Yeah. He didn't do too bad.
He didn't do too bad, man.
The third round would not have been a bad thing.
Yeah. So I've been working a little bit with Sean Jordan, which kind of is a conflict because we got Blagoy at the gym, and him and Sean Jordan might end up fighting. So I'm going to take a step back. But my point is that heavyweight influx in Extreme Couture is starting to come back around, where you're seeing Roy starting to recruit more and more big guys, big bodies in there. So it's going to be good.
Let's see here. Just a couple quick matchups. Kicking off the main card will be Alex Caceres and Jason Knight. That's the White Diaz brother. What's he call himself? Hick Diaz, he calls himself. Yeah.
He fought in Australia the last time, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he's tough, man.
That's another fight where if you look at the line, the betting line, it's pretty close to
Dude,
even.
Caceres doesn't get the love he should, man.
He's tough.
That dude is tough. He's awkward as shit. He poses a lot of threats. Ground game, I mean, dude, the dude just doesn't get the love.
He popped up on some of those street fight videos in Miami, too.
He lost a split decision to Yair. I mean, Yair is the next new thing.
Didn't he give Faber a tough time for a while?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dude is tough, man.
Liz Carmouche versus Sarah McMahon at UFC 105. And Hannes versus Mearschart. Cecilia versus Tucker. God, I only know 3 of those names. I got to refresh myself. UFC 211 set for May 13th in Dallas. Travis Brown and Derek Lewis now headline UFC Fight Night 105 in Halifax. They got taken off, I believe, UFC 208. If you're a ticket holder, I think Lewis is starting to become a name, and then Brown's just going to be a name because he's with Rousey, And to be fair, he has done decently as a heavyweight. I think he's 3-3 now or something like that. If I bought tickets to Brooklyn and I got D. Randamian home, I'd be like, all right. And then they just gave me Anderson versus Brunson. I'm like, okay, I'll take that. I'm feeling you. But now you take that one away? Oof.
Yeah.
I'd be kind of pissed, man, because I'm becoming a huge Derek Lewis fan, and I know a lot of others are too.
His social media is so funny, man. If I could only follow one person, it'd probably be him.
Be Derek Lewis.
Honey Jason versus Jeremy Kennedy added to UFC Fight Night 106 down in Brazil. All right, take a couple calls. We'll take a commercial, and then I think it'll be close to Tito Ortiz time. Josh in Ontario, what's up, man?
Oh, not much, guys. Eric, thanks a lot for taking the time to come into the studio. We always appreciate when you come in. You're a great co-host there with the 2 guys.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I love coming in with these guys.
No problem. And earlier to start the show, you guys were talking about first CDs, and Eric, you mentioned a few movies that you enjoyed as a kid. Now your little girls are watching them. I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and for the movies, my kids are they've been watching The Sandlot and the Mighty Ducks movies.
Yeah.
Which both are a couple greats that I love. As a kid, and to watch it with them, I'm enjoying it just as much. So
it's funny because I was trying to dig up The Sandlot on Netflix or something to show the girls too. I love that movie.
Is it on there?
It wasn't, but it always it does that cycle. You'll see it on there, and then it's like 3 months. Obviously, they're in. But you're right, man. The Sandlot's great.
Yeah, and first CD, I'm not a big music guy, but I was, I think the original Big Shiny Tunes, I don't know if you know those, the Big Shiny Tunes, but I think that was my first CD I ever owned.
No, I don't know.
I can't fist bump you there. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah. You never heard of those?
The
might
first...
be a Canadian thing, I don't know. But, and then for a fight,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Too, guys. I don't know either what I'm talking about, eh? The fight, I'm looking forward to Sterling and a Sunsao this weekend. That's up there with the Cowboy fight for myself. I'm looking forward to both of those. Those are the 2 fan favorites in my opinion.
Nice.
But that's all I got, guys. Have a great show.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe you can comment on that because you've had to prepare for Aljamain Sterling in the past.
Yeah,
I think that's a really good fight, man.
Tricky fight. Caraway's fought both those guys, Sunsao and Aljamain. I mean, just Aljamain is a guy who a lot of movement and moreover just kicks a lot. Throws awkward kicks from every direction, and he sets up his takedowns well off of them. Sunsao is a guy that just likes to move forward a lot, sets up stuff off his jab. Man, it's gonna. In my opinion, if I were to pick between the two, I would say I think Sunsao wins that fight. But you never know, man. Sterling might be able to get on the guy's back and put him away. So it's gonna be a tricky fight for both guys.
One more call here. It's David from Florida. What's up, David?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good,
my
man.
question for you guys was, who you guys are taking, TJ or Garbett?
Oof. Good question, man.
How about those wars in the training room? I'm sure these guys had. I mean, how many rounds do you think they've gone with each other? Hundreds.
Yeah.
I mean, they know each other.
Right. Look, man, I'll tell you what. Up until when he smashed Cruz, I probably would have picked Dillashaw. But fucking Cody showed me something there, man. And he looks like he still hasn't even gotten close to reaching a ceiling.
Let's play a little game.
Okay.
If I told you the fight ended by knockout, who won?
Cody.
All right. If I told you it ended by submission, who won?
I would say I think I've seen more out of TJ that he could maybe do that.
And
but
if it
even
went the
then, I don't know.
distance?
He's been a submission machine. Went the distance. Well, at that point, that means at that point it means if it went the distance, did Cody put him down a couple times, or was TJ just doing what Dominic Cruz set out to do, and that's make him miss, and bob and weave and strike, get in and get out. Did he land any takedowns? I mean, because when Dominic landed a takedown on Cody answered right back. I mean, he's a high school state wrestling champion. It's just that everybody knows him more as, the guy that's got some heavy hands, the boxing background. That really is a great question. I always say like this. Yeah, you put a gun to my head. If I don't get the right guy, he pulls the trigger. Man, I may have to go with Cody now.
Yeah?
Yeah, how about you, Eric? You probably have a more keen eye than us, too.
No, I'm with you guys. I was actually thinking about that this morning. Was just the first thing that came to my mind was, man, I wonder how many rounds those guys went together in the training room and how well they know each other and their tendencies. Kind of what Buckles is going to do as far as the coaching side goes and what Ludwig's going to do on his end.
That's going to be interesting, isn't it?
It's just going to be a really good chess match, and I think the winners are going to be us as the fans to see this fight, man.
Yeah.
It's tough to pick. Because you're right. Either way, what you saw TJ do to Lineker, you're like, what the fuck? Like, this isn't supposed to work out like that. And then even Cody's movement to counter Cruz and what he was doing, you're like, these guys are the shit, man.
It's gonna be an awesome.
It's gonna be an awesome fight. Yeah, tough to pick.
Sucks too, because I feel like TJ's kind of a junkie. He's been on our show so many times, been in studio. But I want to give the most honest, forthright answer I can. The gun to the head settles it. I just think that guy's power. Something to be said about Garbrandt's power. But as I was thinking and picturing their fight and their attributes and their skills, I think Buchholz is going to get there. I think he's very sharp. Mm-hmm. But there really does seem to be something to Ludwig as a head coach and what he did. And, I don't know if he's going to have that Belichick effect where he'll be able to, counter coach or
right.
We'll see.
Make
who wins
adjustments
that
on
battle.
the fly and what you see, So there's in football, you have the second half adjustments, and you come out in a 4-2, and then the next thing you know, you're in a 5-3, and you're just moving stuff. It's just the second half adjustments are always big deals.
Great question, David. Good stuff, man.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir. All right, we'll take this break, get it out of the way. When we come back, we'll take more calls. If you call in, we'll talk. 866-522-2846. I also want to touch on a few of the categories. 2016 World MMA Awards nominations came out, so we'll talk about that when we come back.
Strictly bitch, you don't play around, cover much ground, got game by the
what we've kind of rebuilt and where we once were to where we are now, and the ups and downs. Yeah, I think it's
King Kong has a lot of shit on them. Like a lot, especially Goes. Here, Gorgeous George and Goes.
All right, so check it out. We had a little interesting conversation here. I was talking to Eric about so what it is, it's the 2017 World MMA Awards, reflecting 2016 performances. So I said that incorrectly before the break. Gym of the Year, Extreme Couture was a fixture here for the first couple years. It hasn't been last couple, and it's not for this year. This year's American Top Team is BG Ireland, Jackson Wink, MMA Academy, American Kickboxing Academy, Team Alpha Male. I was telling Eric, where does he feel like he fits? If there was a sixth, would he be there? Is it a goal? And Eric, how do you want to answer that?
Yeah, it was when I took over Extreme Couture 3 years ago. I've been there for 10 years, and I've seen the ups and downs and the rebuild and everything else. But that was a goal of mine was to get nominated for Gym of the Year and be back in that mix. And I feel like we've done some good things. I feel like we could be nominated at some point, But again, like we talking during the break, a lot of these gyms I think are just fixtures, and they're always going to be kind of there anyway. Where we really need to just get in and get when Misha won her title, and then a couple other people in that spotlight again, and I think we'll be there.
I like to try and touch on one category per day. Usually, we haven't really done it this year yet. We did talk about Journalist of the Year, Ben Folks. That's who I'm leaning towards, obviously. Website of the Year. I'm really heavily leaning towards MMA Junkie. And then Gym of the Year. Since we're on the topic, Eric is the GM at Extreme Couture. This wasn't like to stroke the ego or because you're here, but I looked at it. Okay, American Top Team. They had the Lawler run. Strauss is a champ over at Bellator, although he's been inactive all of 2016. Aguilar held a title for them when she was with World Series, but now she hurt her knee. She also lost to Claudia the year before, so it doesn't count. But Lawler did lose his title. And then so who are some of the other names? Masvidal, decent year. You think he's 2-0. He's on a 2-0 run. King Mo had the win in Bellator and then the loss to Crow Cop, and then I think he lost to Davis. Amanda, huge win for them. Nina won the following week for them. You get your Bigfoots and your JDSs, and I can't tell who's true and who isn't.
That's the thing. That's where it gets...
Poirier lost to Michael Johnson. So I'll give him this. I'll leave him alone because Amanda won.
Well, it depends.
But there have been some losses is what I'm saying, some high-profile fights.
Like Tyron Woodley, he flies that flag, but he's never there.
He's kind of more of an affiliate, and then he's got Rufus in his corner. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, the SBG Ireland. Look, again, all these gyms, much respect to all of them, but we got to break it down here. Connor, what he's doing is amazing. I mean, he beat another guy in another weight class. He went 1-1 against Nate Diaz. All right, I'll give him that, man. But Lobov got back in the win column. Nice. But Gunnar Nelson lost a key fight to Rick Story in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know that gym really has produced enough quality to be mentioned there.
Be in there.
Now, I might be wrong. I don't know. Let's go to Jackson Wink MMA. Who do you think goes? I don't think you were eavesdropping or anything, but this might be fresh for you. John Jones is the big name, right?
Right.
He didn't fight. Holly Holm's a big name. 0-2. She lost to Misha. She lost to Shevchenko. Carlos Condon's a big name. Who did he lose to? Robbie Lawler, Damian Maia. Dodson's a big name. He recently lost to Lineker. Diego Sanchez recently lost. I'm not shitting on the team. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying, do they belong? I'm also not saying Extreme belongs.
Right.
We're just kind of exploring
just
here.
Kicking around.
And I will let Eric make his pitch for maybe why Extreme might belong based off some of the stuff I'm saying. I'm thinking maybe SBG Ireland, because of the Connor effect, I think you have to have a little bit more than Connor. Like Amanda has a little bit more than just, hey, I'm Amanda. They have some other great fighters that did some big things. But I think SBG Ireland, I don't know that it should belong there. Jackson Wink MMA, I'm just quoting you a few of the names here that I'm thinking off the top of my head.
One that stands out for me right now is Michelle Watterson.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Cowboy Cerrone, that's another good one.
Yeah.
So they're pushing back. Hey, George, how about these guys? All right, I feel you.
The mainstay.
See, SBG doesn't have too much of a pushback other than we got Connor.
Yeah.
All right, but still, is it one of the top five? I don't know. American Kickboxing, Cormier, he only beat Anderson.
Right.
That's not his fault. Jones didn't show up to the dance. Cormier will also tell you it wasn't my most impressive performance. That was Anderson. It was a whole different dynamic.
He did what he had to do in this
He did what he had to do. Khabib, okay, 2 great fights. Luke Rockhold lost his world title. and he hasn't fought since then. And Josh Thompson, I think, may have gotten a win earlier this year.
Yep.
And then John Flitch recently went back and beat Shields. So, see, they're giving me a little bit more of a pushback. I don't think I have a problem with that. Cain Velasquez, what did he do? He lost?
They beat the dog shit out
Oh,
of him.
yeah. So that they can hold their own.
Yeah.
AK, they're good.
Yeah.
Team Alpha Male. Page
Cody.
lost, but Cody won.
Right.
Uriah Faber finished on a win, but he also lost to Rivera.
Yeah.
Who else do they got?
But they have a stable of young and up. Josh Emmett. There's some really good studs coming up through Alpha Male right now.
Oh, the Japanese fighter that likes grabbing chicks.
Yeah, but he got beat by
I thought he was
Artemov.
Korean.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, Artemov.
Is he? Okay.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one, George. Maybe number 2 should get bumped.
Maybe 2 and maybe 3 too. You know.
How about I'll tell you what, man. Colby Covington out of American Top Team.
Stud, yeah.
What a stud, dude.
So Eric, you got 90 seconds. What would be your pitch for maybe why you belong? Give us.
You know
what one of your athletes won a world title this year, Misha Tate.
Yeah. Misha won. You know, Roy's on a well, we're 3 and 4 since I've been with Roy. You know, we got good up and coming guys. Kevin Lee has just been on a tear right now.
Kevin, good name.
Kevin Lee.
What did Brian do this year? Did he fight once and win?
Yeah, we had
Aljamain.
We had Aljamain, then we had Eddie Wineland.
Tavares, how did he do in 2000?
Brad
he hasn't
had
fought.
Brad fought Kyle Magalesh. We won.
Yeah.
And then we had the Hector Lombard fight, but both got injured.
Okay.
You know, and then our World Series guys have always done pretty well. In that, we got Blagoy, who's the World Series heavyweight champ over there.
See, right away you have a world champion,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have some wins to back it up.
Yeah.
You might have enough to unseat Jackson Wink.
Yeah, well, you know what, man?
I mean,
It's
Cowboy,
just,
much respect, but, you know, Cowboy and Michelle Watterson. But SBG Ireland, I don't know if that's enough.
It's a good motivating tool, and these are the gyms that you strive to be, and we set up every day when we show up to practice, and these are the small things that we talk about.
What other camp might be tripping?
I think you gotta look at something back east in the Longo Serra guys. You know, those guys are always producing some studs.
Because Alvarez did lose McGregor, but he did beat RDA, and he also beat Pettis at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Edgar did lose to Aldo, but he crushed somebody at the beginning of the year.
They do coach and gym of the year, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the lab. John Couch has
Barbosa,
always got good
Marias.
guys over in Arizona. You know, there's now with the sport and the way it's growing and the lineage of guys that are moving around. There's good gyms everywhere you go.
Who gets your vote, guys?
I'm thinking back to Jackson Wink, and don't you you gotta throw BJ in there, and then don't you have to throw the
BJ
Pettis?
wasn't there for the last 6 to 9 months. We came to find out.
Didn't he cross over for a while too?
Yeah,
and
but
do half and half.
Yeah, but I still think he's more Rufus. Who do you give your vote to?
I think you have to give it to American Top Team.
I think I've narrowed it down between them and Alpha Male.
I give mine to Alpha Male.
Yeah,
I'd
have to just go back and see. There's some names that are missing. Mendez didn't fight. Lance Palmer, world champion.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? I think they have a little bit more going on.
Yeah, there's some studs, and then really when you start digging deeper in that stable of guys, the up and coming guys that they have, you know, they got some studs.
Showtime in Tennessee. What's up, brother? Showtime, you there? All righty. Well, we'll try and squeeze you back in after the break. So, Danny, maybe we should take a break, and then we'll see what we come up with as far as the Huntington Beach Bad Boys concerned, and if not, Showtime's our backup. All right, you're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. Stay close.
Don't sweat the technique.
on it. That was good.
Look at RDA on the undercard.
Yeah, right.
Simpson, Tavares.
Yeah. And Jaquani.
Army with harmony.
Okay, here we go.
Let's see. Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, start. You told me that code would get rid of them. Yeah, well, they're still here. Okay, but now they know I tried to kill them. Hold on, Mom. Here are George and Goes.
All right, we're back. And again, we're joined by Eric Nixick from Extreme Couture here. He's co-hosting for the day. Thanks again, Eric, for your time as always. We always have a blast with you, man.
Yeah, I love coming on, guys.
All right, so now we're going to talk to our second guest of the day. He is coming off a big win at Bellator 170, and it looks like it'll be the final time that he ever enters a cage or ring, any sided octagon or anything of that matter. And his name is Tito Ortiz. What's going on, Tito?
Doing great, man. Just enjoying the sun here in Southern California.
Oh, you
nice
bastard. Man, you had to rub it in. We're from Santa Ana. We're from Santa Ana, California, and every time we go back that way, we think about the sunshine and the weather, and now we're in Vegas where it's a little bit nippy and the summer gets hot, so we're a little jealous.
Yeah, no, I mean, unless you're at the Dome at Marquee, I think that's the only time it's hot. I'll be in this weekend.
Yeah, he knows the spots.
I've been throwing lives, man. It's good.
Yeah. Well, listen, we were kind of going down memory lane. I mean, you really have delivered 20 years. I know it was your blood, your sweat, your tears, but us fans got a lot of thrills out of it. So, first of all, thank you. Congratulations on a great career, the win on Saturday. But, yeah, we were talking about we've been to a lot of your fights, covered a lot of fights. The Vitor one stood out, Goes. Remember that at Mandalay Bay?
Yeah, I remember him
just
running
talking
up
about
the stairs.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we were talking about Bader, the choke you put on him, UFC 132, and then, of course, the Shamrock duels, the trilogy with Forrest Griffin. Seriously, man, you look back. You mixed it up with a lot of studs.
Yeah, I always got put in with the best people that they've always put me in with. Every time they try to either build a name off me or they built the name off me, and it goes back to Machida. I mean, there's many names that I fought that I lost to, or I drew against, like Rashad Evans, or I beat, like Vito Belfort or Chael Sonnen. That's my greatest one now, but Ryan Bader was a huge one at the point I heard you guys talking about in the intermission. Being a 5-1 underdog, I think at one point it was 6-1 underdog.
Yeah.
But all my interviews prior to that, I said, I'm going to beat him. People say, well, what are you going to do after this? I go, I'm going to beat him. They go, no, really, what are you going to do after this? I mean, you're not going to win. I'm like, okay, just watch. And when I hit him with the right hand, he dropped, and then I sunk that guillotine choke on him. It's just, everything happens for a reason in this life, I think. I think God really just challenges me as a human, challenges me as a person, challenges me as a father, and as a fighter, I see what type of character I truly have. And through hard work and dedication, I can achieve great things. I mean, in this fight against Chael Sonnen, I was a 2-1 underdog. Everybody says he's going to out-wrestle me, he's going to outstrike me, I'm too old, I've had injuries, I've had surgeries, but people didn't see the hard work I put in. It's been 14 weeks I put in. I killed myself for this camp. There was not one rock unturned through the whole camp. I mean, I'm training 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, training 4 days a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and twice on Saturdays. The only day I had off was Sunday, and that was my rest day. And it was hard. It was hard each and every day. I pushed myself so hard. But everything we did, I did in the fight. The takedowns, the strikes. Chael goes for a kick. I drop a right hand on him. He was like, oh, wow. He goes to throw a punch. I throw a kick to his head. He's like, wow, I know he wasn't expecting me kicking him. And then everything was wide open for the single. I got a single leg to a dump, and I knew exactly what he was going to do. I mean, Rafael Davis went over of him going for a guillotine, for a headlock snap down, and then he goes for a 3/4 stack and tries to stack my head over myself, which I'm lucky I kind of strengthened my neck a little bit because my neck's really, really sore. My left arm's completely numb right now. I got to look either tomorrow or later on today. I got to go get a CT scan to make sure that the disc is not bulging or pressing on my spinal cord. Hopefully I don't need another surgery.
Damn.
But defending the anaconda choke, and then him switching to a guillotine and me defending that to get in the mount position. And then me and BJ Penn during camp, we went over this position of it's really a white belt move of going on top, pressing the knee down, keeping shoulder pressure on the neck, and getting the mount position. Chael knew he was in trouble. He didn't want to get smashed in the face with elbows.
I hit him with a couple small ones. He said one of them hurt him, and that's why he didn't defend the choke. And I was fresh. I was super, super strong, and I got the choke. It didn't matter if it was underneath his chin. It didn't matter if it was on top of his chin. I was going to break his chin either way, and I was squeezing for dear life. I had cardio for days, so all the hard work paid off, man. I'm very, very thankful. Very thankful.
Big John McCarthy was here yesterday on our show co-hosting, and he put me in that choke. And I'll tell you, man, you know, he was giving you a lot of praise on how strong you are. Because, you know, those, I don't know if you've heard, I don't know how active you are on social media. People were like, the fix. John's like, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Put me in that fucking squeeze. That did not feel good one bit. I felt like a little bit of my jaw was getting crushed, and at the same time the carotid.
2 out of 10, and you look like Grimace from McDonald's. You were purple.
I know, man. It was no joke.
And I think, Tito, you had the body lock in too, right?
Yeah, I had the figure 4 because he actually split my legs down, trying to
get the lockdown on the other side.
Once you put the legs in, if you cross your legs, a guy can lock on top of your legs and try to
ankle lock,
ankle lock yourself.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're in the middle of a fight.
It's not going to happen.
That hurts for guys who are white belt guys.
Right.
So what he did is he secured my hips even tighter. So my hips got tighter, and I can understand how strong my core is. I mean, I've had a back surgery where the doctor said my soleus muscle, which is the muscle that stabilizes your back, he goes, that's 3 times the size of anybody I ever worked on. Mm-hmm. I've worked on my core so strong, so my core is super strong. And then I had all that together, and it's like this anaconda choke. I mean, I'm choked completely. My whole body is, you know, flexing and wrapping around Chael's neck. And
yeah, that was the first thing that stood out to me was that body lock that he had on him.
Yes, McCarthy was going to have to rip me off. I was not. When he tapped, I was not letting go. Plain and simple. I was not letting go. I was not letting go until he was out unconscious, and his face is purple.
Yep.
Well, yeah, you accomplished that.
It frustrates me. It frustrates me because those are the people, either A, they don't like Trump, and they see that I support Trump, or B, they try to vote for Clinton, and they don't like Trump, or C, they're not a Tito Ortiz fan, and they never believe what I've been doing over the last 20 years, and they're new to the sport, or...
They've just never rolled with you, bro.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, you know, talking about that, you're right. They did have to peel you off. You've apologized for that, but John was telling us, you know, he had to put a little bit of pressure on your neck. I don't think you felt it right then and there because you bounced right back up. But I guess you've already had an exchange with John since then. There's been an apology. Everything's good there.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it was just one of those things in the heat of the moment, man. Everything that Chael said about me personally, saying about my ex, saying about, you know, me getting my car repoed, and it was just all the emotions happening in one. I had the opportunity, and I wasn't going to let go. He didn't give me a chance to punch him in the face. He didn't give me a chance to elbow in the face. He turned his back so quick. He was afraid, man, and it frustrated me. So I wasn't going to let the choke pass. I wasn't going to let the position pass, and I had the opportunity, and I was just going to squeeze until either he was out or McCarthy had to rip me off, literally.
Tito Ortiz, our guest here on MMA Junkie Radio. He's coming off a win at Bellator 170 in Inglewood, California over Chael Sonnen. Goes, what do you have for Tito?
So, Tito, early on in our show, we were going down memory lane a little bit in football. We brought up the name Jack Tatum. We pulled up YouTube, and we looked up one of his famous hits from the Super Bowl. 10 years from now, when people talk about Tito Ortiz, what's the one moment or the one fight that you could say, hey, pull this up and check this out. This was the best Tito Ortiz. This is the type of fighter I was.
God, this Chael Sonnen was a good one just because he put me in a submission. I was able to get out of it. That was a really good one. But, you know, the Ryan Bader was another good one. The Vito Belfort was another good one. I had so many great fights through my career that I was able, beating Vanderlei Silva for the world title was another great one. But if I look at all of them, I would have to say, you know, Ryan Bader. Just because at the time, Ryan Bader was ranked fourth in the world. I was a 6-1 underdog. And I got the opportunity. You know, I got the opportunity to prevail. And the biggest enemy that I've had through my whole career has been my own body. You know, I've had ACL replacement on my left knee, ACL replacement on my right knee, 50% of my meniscus taken out of my right knee. I've had L4-5, S1 fused, which are lowest vertebrae in my lower back fused. I've had C6, C7 fused in my neck. I've had C5, C4 disc replacement. I've had C4, C3 fused. I've had a reattached retina in my left eye. I've had over 26 concussions, but I've been able to do it over the last 20 years. I've been able to have enough balls to step up and say, you know what, I'm going to sacrifice myself for the company. I'm going to sacrifice myself for the fans. I'm going to sacrifice myself for my children to make sure that they don't have nothing financially to worry about. And I've done that. And I did it with respect. I did it with dignity. I did it with, respect and perseverance. It's been hard. It's been tough, but I've been able to fight down and say, you can do it, dude. Look in the mirror and saying, I can do this. I know I can do this. And I did it. What
do you feel beat you up more, the fights or the training?
The training, 1,000%. Training was the hardest. Training is so hard. Like I say, 14 weeks, 6 days a week. That's anywhere from 4 to 9 hours a day. I'm pushing myself. It was hard. It's hard to get up every morning. I can count the days that for this last camp that I woke up, I get up at maybe 12 in the afternoon, and just getting out of bed was hard. Getting out of bed going, what the hell am I doing, man? But then thinking about it, Chuck pinned you on your birthday the last time you had to compete against him. Are you going to let him dead again in front of you, in front of millions of people? And I was like, no. And then I just built the energy to get up and get to the training. And I get through one training, I get to another, and I get to another. It was tough, but I had no quit. I never quit, man. I kept going, kept working, and hard work pays off.
We also have Eric Nixick here from Extreme Couture. Eric, what do you have for Tito?
I don't know if Tito remembers this, but he came to Couture's. This was the first MMA awards. He comes into town, and we all touched about Tito the fighter, but some of the listeners for him as a character person, he jumps in one of my grappling classes. It's Dennis Davis, Tito, and a few of us. He spends 3 hours rolling, hanging out with the students, myself, Dennis, going over technique, unprompted. He didn't need to do it. He's in there extending his knowledge. I think Vitor was there too, training, if you remember correctly, Tito. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Yeah, so he ended up hanging out with us, and I never met the guy before. You can hear whatever rumors, this or that, but from that day on, I've always been a Tito fan, man. He spent all the time in the world with us and the students and the coaches, staff. Didn't have to do that. Went out to do the MMA awards later on that night, but no, I always remember that, bro. It was cool to have you in. You were a great training partner, man. It was fun.
Cool, man. I've always been a person to give back. People see me on The Ultimate Fighter, and that's the person I am. The first one on The Ultimate Fighter 3. I've always been a guy to give back to fighters, to give back to help them build their careers, or any ideas that I've had through my career, or any things that I've gone through to give back to them. My true calling was to be a high school wrestling coach and a high school teacher. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I went to school for. That's what I wanted to get my AA, my bachelor's degree, my minor. That's what I went to school for. This fighting thing came a complete accident. It came by an accident. I didn't know I was going to go wake up one day and go, okay, I'm going to be a professional fighter. No, I was going to be a high school wrestling coach and a resource teacher. That's all I wanted to help with kids. I want to build them up and, make them good human beings on this earth. Well, this fighting came by accident, and I did it. And instead of helping, 20 to 30 kids in the wrestling room, I've been able to help over hundreds of thousands across the world, maybe more than that.
Yeah, I don't even think you realize that effect that it has, man. It's just your personality and how it resonates with people. And it was a couple times I got to be around you, but it was always a pleasant experience. Talk a little bit about your Big Bear training camps, man, and kind of the killers you guys used to bring up there.
God, that was always hell. I couldn't. This goes back, since 2001. And actually, since 2000 when I fought my first camp up there before I fought Evan Tanner. And, rest in peace, Evan Tanner. He passed away, of course, a bunch of years ago. But all the boxers used to go up there. Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, De La Hoya. And they were world champions. And you learn how to sacrifice so much stuff by being up there, I think. And just sacrifice away from your family, sacrifice away from time. There's nowhere to go out to. All there is just train, eat, sleep, and train. That's all we did, eat, sleep, and train. But it was brutal. People like Rampage, Chuck Liddell, Bill Baroni, Rico Rodriguez, had a few pro boxers up there that was helping me. At times the camps I went up there, I was up there from 2000 until 2012 was my last camp up there. And it was hell. It was a lot of sacrifice. Right now, Tony Ferguson, that's when his main camp is up there, and that guy's going to be champ one day. And I remember I fought Vitor Belfort. Vitor Belfort said, mountains don't make champions. Well, that night I beat Tito Belfort, and I'd say that he's wrong, because if you're willing to sacrifice your life to going up in camp up in Big Bear, you're going to be a champion. Sacrifice is the only way to be a champion. You can't do stuff easy. You got to be out of your own element, and I think that's a place that I've learned to be out of my element. And I'm thankful now I don't have to go up there anymore. I'm so thankful I don't have to be away from my family. I'm thankful I don't have to train anymore. You know, I'm going to train still, of course, but just not at the magnitude that I had to compete. And I'm able to spend time with my family and have a normal life. See, that's what people don't understand. A lot of these fans saying, "Get back in there, you need to fight." But my life was never normal. Right. I was never a normal person. And it's nice to be a normal person. I mean, I go to dinner and get to have a glass of wine.
Right.
It's just simple things like that. You know, I get to have a Coke instead of having water. You know, I get to have some fried instead of having a salad and some pasta and chicken with no sauce on it. I mean, just small, simple things in life that we take for granted that I've missed out on for such a long time that I get to enjoy now. And it's not like I'm going to go out and get all fat and huge. No, I'm going to stay in shape. I mean, I won't be in super fight shape, but I'll be in shape. That's for sure.
Kind of cool to see you and Dana exchange texts. I don't know if we can say a beef has been squashed, or if you just feel better about the fact that there's no negative feelings between you all. Can you talk more about that? Was it just more than the text, or was it a call? Or
no, it was never a call. I wish it was. It wasn't a call. It was simply just a text from him, texting Amber. And, you know, she came to me smiling. She's like, "Guess what?" I go, "What?" She goes, "You never really texted me." And I just threw it out. I was like, "Dana." She goes, "Yep," he texted and said, "That's the way you should have gone on top. Congrats." And that was cool. Mm-hmm. I think I was very humble in him. And I respect it. And I think it took me a day to text him back. I texted back and I said, "Thanks for the text." I didn't hear anything back, so I'm not sure if it's the same number that he has. But it's cool. You know, we all make mistakes in our life. You know, life's too short to hold grudges, but business is business, and you know, I moved on in my life. I'm a different person than I was 4 years ago. Life has changed completely for me. I'm in a great place in my life, and you know, I think hatred is a harsh word to have towards others, and especially someone like Dana that I've known such a long time. And I was just trying to fight for what he fought for me when he was my manager, and I was no more than that. And yeah, there's a few times that some things that I said, some things that I did that I shouldn't have done. But I was, you know, other people in my mind too, other people in my head telling me to do these things. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's behind me now. So I'm happy. I'm living in a great place now.
Tito, let me ask you something. How you doing on time? Do you still have a few more minutes? You got to get going.
Yeah, no, I'm cool on time, guys. I'm good. Just I got to still stir this pot while it's hot, man. I'm good.
Okay, I'll tell you what. We got a few more minutes, so I'm asking you one more question, and then we're gonna take a quick commercial. And if you can stay like 5 minutes more, we just have a few more questions. And you seem to be an open book right now, and we're putting a lot of things to bed.
Yeah,
so
of course, for the fans, man, you guys, of course, I want to give back. So this is an opportunity. So
folks, check this out. First of all, log on to TitoOrtiz.com. The Punishment Athletics brand was flying on Saturday. Check it out. It's been around for a long time. You know, a lot of brands have gone in and out. This one's still chugging along, but it's funny because when you go on TitoOrtiz.com, you look at some of these stats. 15 years, 28 battles, 28 championship rounds, 5 light heavyweight title defenses. But look at this stat. 4 hours, 52 minutes, 9 seconds. That's how much time he's been in a cage, all right, with another human being. That's almost 5 hours of fucking punching.
That was up to 2012.
Oh, was? Oh, wow. So it's more than that.
On the last fight.
Oh, wow. So you're probably...
Shit.
That's a long time to be punching someone, receiving a punch from someone, a kick, back and forth, a knee, a fucking elbow, someone squeezing your neck. And so now as he was going through all those other things like, you know, the L1 fusion and the L2 and then this and then that, stuff that I really don't know too much about, but I know it's serious stuff when it involves the spine. I almost feel ridiculous. I was about to ask him, "Are you sure you're retired? Is there a 1% chance?" But after hearing all that, no, man, I think you're good. You know what I mean?
There's a 0% chance.
All right, we're gonna put you on. We're gonna do this quick commercial, and then we'll come back and we'll do a little bit of overtime. You keep stirring that pot, Tito, and we'll get to you in about 3 or 4 minutes. Thank you, sir.
Sounds good, man. Thank you.
All right, folks. So he's on hold. And I'm looking at the Facebook chat. If you have any last rapid-fire questions, I'll ask them. You sticking around, Eric?
I'm staying. Yeah.
All right, cool. So you're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on SiriusXM Rush 93. Head on over to TitoOrtiz.com. Check out more information on him and also his brand, and you'll find out different ways. And you can follow him his social media. He's got his links to his Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. All right, we'll be right back in about 3 minutes, folks. Stay close.
Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas with your neon flashing and the one-armed bandits crashing. All those hopes down the drain. Viva Las Vegas, turning day into nighttime, turning night into daytime. If you see it once, you'll never be the same again. I'm gonna keep on the run, I'm gonna have me some fun. It cost me my very last dime. If my wind up broke, well, I'll always remember that I had a swinging time.
All right, you guys clear for overtime?
Yeah, I just realized we don't have to hold for 3 minutes. We're on overtime right now. I don't know why I thought it's really the end of the show. But
I thought you had to take a leak or something.
No, I'm good to go. So hopefully you're still all right. All right, Tito, you still with us?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. So it wasn't a 3 to 4 minute break. We're right back at it right now. All right. So the only thing I was going to say was if you left at 99.9 and you ever came back, boy, I really wanted to see you and Rampage. You were training partners, and I could tell there was just enough in each of you, whether that you respect each other, you like each other. I'm sure you'll always be friends, but enough that maybe in front of millions, if you both got paid well, you'd like to punch each other in the face. Then I heard you name off all those injuries, and I don't know if I want you to go through another camp, man. It sounds like it's just time to be a father and be healthy, but is that one that kind of escaped you that you would have wanted to have at some point?
No, not at all. Not at all. You got to understand that making a couple million for a fight, is that worth a friendship? No, because I made less than that, and it cost me a friendship with Chuck Liddell. It's not worth friendship, man. It's cool to call Rampage, hey, bro, what's up? How you doing, man? You doing good? Yeah, how's your camp? How's everything doing, man? You doing good? And seeing them out, we'll go to the signings and stuff, and being cool with them, and not having no grudges, having no hatred towards each other. It's not worth money. To me, I think a friendship is worth more than money. I love Rampage as a brother, man. And I know a lot of people want to see that fight happen. And it was supposed to happen at a time, and I ended up breaking my neck. I ended up having a lateral fracture in one of my vertebrae, and it didn't happen. So it was like God saying, this fight will never happen because of this. You guys need to stay friends, and I think I'll take it as that. No friendship is worth money. But for other people, sometimes it is. I believe in that person myself.
The financial stuff sometimes gets touchy. The NFL, the NBA, all their shit's revealed. MMA is a little bit more, behind the scenes. People don't talk. But I just want to know, do you feel like you made enough money that you are set, or will you be taking a year or two off and then looking to, continue making money in another way that's attached to MMA?
You can never make enough money. I made enough money to be comfortable, but of course I want to be comfortable for the rest of my life. My children be comfortable for the rest of their lives. Their school's taken care of. They have nothing to worry about. But I'm always going to work. I have ADD, man. That's my problem. I can't stop doing things. I have to do something else I go crazy. So I'll continue to do stuff in MMA. I'll continue to work. I'll continue to, be a pro fisherman, be a pro poker player, do TV shows, maybe do some acting, maybe come aboard with Bellator and help with the promotion. Maybe start my own promotion. I don't know. I mean, continue on with my management company, of course. I think I'm going to kind of go nose first on this one. I want to go dive into it and make sure I do it the right way for a lot of fighters who get managed the wrong way from other managers, and treat them the right way, respect them and not be cutthroat. I think the sport is cutthroat towards a lot of fighters, and I think my management company, Primetime 360, George Prazian, of course, the head of it, I want to help out in that way. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I'm going to be involved in MMA no matter what.
Talking about squash and beefs, what about you and Justin McCulley? I know you guys were training partners for many years, and then all of a sudden this stuff happened with Bonner. We just talked about a text, and you and Dana, I think you and Dana maybe hated each other, or maybe, I don't know, but it seemed like you guys disliked each other for quite many years, and now it looks like you guys may be cool going forward. But what about a guy like Justin McCulley? That was public. A lot of people saw that.
Well, here's the difference. Between me and Dana, that was business. That was between me and him. That was business that we argued against each other because we wanted the best for each other, for ourselves. I wanted the best for me, and Dana wanted the best for him, and we battled against that. The Justin thing, this is a guy who I thought was my brother, that I had no worries of trust issues or anything like that. And growing up, trust is the number one thing that I've learned to respect like no other. And Justin, I have zero respect for. I have zero trust for because I gave so much to this guy. For him to turn around and say that I owe him money, to say that I owe him the things that I owed him, saying the things that I would try to charge my friends for bottle service, I can't trust the guy. I can't trust him as far as I could throw him. So I don't hate him. I don't care for him. I won't let a person like that in my life anymore. It's the best thing is to keep negative people away from you, keep the toxic people away from you, the shady people away from you. That's when you have a great life. And over these last 4 years, my life has been great because I've had the shady people away from me. You know, I keep the negative people, the toxic people out of my life completely. And that's what makes me happy. That's what makes my family happy. I don't need to forgive anybody. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about having someone around you that you can trust. And Justin is a guy who I gave everything to. I mean, he went to Necker Island for free. He flew in Lear jets with me for free. He was in presidential suites for free with me. He got rooms in Las Vegas. He got bottle service. He got every interest at any club he ever wanted to for free. Every place we went to, we'd go to give him money, and he ganged. And respect has always been a huge value in my life. And I've always held that to my heart like no other. So Justin, he can do what he wants with his life, but there's no friendship that needs to be met there. There's no friendship that needs to be tended there. I'm done. I'm out of it. My life is great.
By the way, we're from Santa Ana as well, and I knew you grew up there, so I'm familiar with the gangs. What gang were you in, like Santa Anita or West Side? Or you were in F Troop?
F Troop.
Oh, man. That's like Civic Center goes. That's around there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I lived on Bristol and McFadden, and we hung out on Brook Street, Brook and Bristol.
Bristol and McFadden? Wait, that's where Modern Day is. That's where I went. Yeah, that's pretty rough around there.
Yeah, Modern Day is a block up on Warner, but I'm on McFadden, right there by the taqueria, and then there's a Church's Chicken on the corner. Or used to be.
Damn, what kind of stuff was going on in gangs back then? I mean, I don't think there was drive-bys or nothing, but was it just meet another gang at a park and chains and knives?
There was drive-bys.
There was?
That was one of the reasons that I got out. One of my friends, Jesse, got shot and killed right in front of me. And he got blasted, and as I jumped over the fence, I could hear the bullets hitting the concrete fence, and I ended up running. I told my mom, we were back over there, and as he was getting carried away in a body bag, I think about a week later, we ended up moving. My mother took me away from my father when we moved back to Huntington Beach. And that was when I was about 11, 12 years old.
Oh, man, that's crazy. I know exactly where that is. And you know what? I think we're both wrong. It's on Edinger in Bristol. I should know. I went there. Those are the best 5 years of my life, high school. You know what I mean? So you'd think I'd know a little bit more. All right. And then the last thing I was going to say, if you're at an airport and you have an hour to go before your flight and you're just chilling and Chuck Liddell's in the same airport, he's got an hour to go. Are you guys cool enough now that you can just chat, or would you just stay on your side, he'd stay on another side?
We're chilling, drinking beers. Are you kidding me? Hell yeah, we're chilling, drinking beers. You got to understand, before this fight on December 5th, I was in Las Vegas for Amber's birthday. And I normally don't drink during camp at all. And that night on Amber's birthday on December 5th, we were at Marquee in Vegas. And I was like, you know what? I saw Chael in the pre-fight thing. We were doing the commercial, and he was fat and he was out of shape, and I was in fight shape already. I was like, you know what, babe? For your birthday, I'm going to have some drinks with you tonight. And we're sitting there having a good time, and all of a sudden, who comes walking over? Chuck Liddell comes walking over. I was like, right on. What's up, Chuck? Hey, Joe, how you doing, man? And someone came over and say happy birthday to Amber. And I was like, yeah, man, you're more welcome to come join us at the table if you want, dude. And we talked, and he went over to his table with his wife, and he comes back with his wife and his assistant and so forth. They came, had a few drinks with us, and we finished the night out. And I'm cool with Chuck, man. We're cool.
Damn, that's crazy.
That's awesome. Now, man. We're grown men.
And
we're grown men, man. That's just the way it is.
I have a feeling you and Shamrock would bullshit for an hour, too. He seems to have a lot of respect for you. He had a lot of nice things to say on Twitter towards you. So, although at one point you guys didn't like each other, I think you and him would chill in the airport for an hour, too, right?
Yeah. The same thing goes him. We actually sat and we talked a few times on the way from Bellator signing, going back to the hotel. We sat in the same van. We talked too. You gotta understand, it's all about building for the fight. Yeah, we do hate each other before the fights, but when you get into the cage and you fight someone, you punch someone in the face, or he punches you in the face, you build a respect towards each other. It's a bond. You build that respect. You look back at Ali and Frazier. I mean, they hated each other.
Yeah.
But there was a time where they sat in the car together and they talked about things, what they needed to do to be helped, and Frazier would reach out to him to try to help him. And I think that's how all fighters should be at one time or another in their life. if they ever fought each other, that's how it should be.
And the last thing for me is with Chael at the end of the press conference, you were seeking an apology. Is that what it was when you said, "Hey, there's one more thing"?
Yeah,
and
I was thinking, because he came to me in my dressing room and he apologized in my dressing room. I said, "You know what? I'll forgive you if you can do it publicly. Because if you can publicly disrespect me like that, you can publicly apologize to me." And he's so much of a jackass that he couldn't do it. So it just shows what type of person he is. And I'll leave it at that. I won't say anything about him. And And a question from our chat room: what kind of boat do you have? I guess this guy's a boat enthusiast. So does it have a name, like the type of boat? Yeah, my name of my boat's Team Punishment, and that's a 38-foot fountain with twin 300 Mercury engines, and it's all outfitted with Simrad.
Damn.
It's a really, really nice boat. I mean, my top speed is about
Tony Sopranos.
51. No, my top speed is about 51 miles an hour, and my cruising speed is about 45. I get about, 2 miles per gallon, and I have 450 gallons on it, so it's my fishing machine.
And folks, let me tell you something.
Right now.
Like I told you guys earlier, I went to Modern Day High School, and Modern Day is kind of like 90% rich kids and 10% non. I was in the non, We came from a good family, but not at that level. And on weekends, there'd be different parties because there's no restrictions on the certain miles within the radius of the school, right? And I remember one girl had a house. She came from a well-to-do family. It was in Huntington Harbor. So I've been in Huntington Harbor. This guy's balling, dude. Yeah. These guys have fat fucking pads, and then they have boats in the back. Yeah. And I just remember going, wow, I wanted to live there one day, And Huntington Harbor is beautiful.
That was my dream. That was my dream. I was a kid fishing on the dock in Huntington Harbor going, one day I'm on a house here.
That's awesome.
And my house is ridiculous. I mean, my house it was built for the owner who used to own the house, and it's like a castle. You look at the front of it, it's like a castle. I'm a king of this castle. I got my princess, Amber, and I got my little princes, Jesse, Jacob, and Journey. I'm living the American dream, man, and I'm very thankful, and it's through hard work and dedication that I'm able to do this. And I've done it with respect. I've done it with integrity, and I've done it with hard work. And I can look. I'm happy. I'm content in my life right now for sure.
Man, every castle needs a court jester, right?
Are you applying for that job,
I'll throw my name in that hat.
You want to be a court jester over there?
Hey, Tito, I'm looking over your resume, everything you've accomplished, and this is just amazing, everything you've been able to do. But the one thing that I don't see on here, you've never co-hosted an episode of MMA Junkie Radio at Mandalay Bay in our studio. At some point, when you're in Vegas, you got to roll in and you got to do that.
Yeah, we can talk about Santa Ana gangs and shit.
For you guys, I'll do that.
Well, there you go.
You gotta understand how many interviews I've turned down to people that talked shit to me before that I just was like, I'm not going to do it. Those guys are shit talkers. I mean, I'm not going to say any names, but people just try to stir the pot for no reason that are just lies, and they try to stir this pot because they're lies, and they try to make it truth, and I won't go on those shows, but as I say, I come on your guys' show. I go on a lot of other people's shows, but there's a lot of people that I kind of steer away from because I don't believe in lies. I don't believe trying to talk shit to get more ratings. That's not cool, especially for us fighters. Us fighters, we put our lives on the line. We go out there and fight. To say nonsense lies about us is just not. It's not fair. It just shouldn't happen. But I will come on to your guys' show for sure.
My brother reminded me of a story. We'll end with this. In Santa Ana, Malone's. It's on Dyer, close to the 55 freeway.
By the Embassy Suites.
By the Embassy Suites, yeah. And I guess maybe I've just drank too much in my life. I'm losing cells. But go ahead and tell that story. Goes. I came home to you and told you this, right?
Yeah. So this is maybe after your third fight in the UFC. And we were hyped because we found out you grew up in Santa Ana, you're a local guy. And so George went to Malone's one night, and he saw you, and he said, I think you called on the house phone. This is how long ago it was. So you call home, he goes,
it was a mobile phone.
Tito Ortiz is here. So I'm like, hey, man, get drunk. If you need a ride, I'll come pick you up. So he told me a story. He goes, I tried to buy him a drink, and he told me, you know what? You're a fan, and you helped put money in my pockets. I'm buying you a drink. And you ended up buying a drink for his whole little crew.
Yeah, that was fucking badass, man.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, so I guess we owe you one now.
I've done that a lot of times, man. I think there was one time that it was after my fight when I fought, was it Evan Tanner, and I was at the Trump Tower, and everybody was in my after party there, and I was in the bar, and there was about 100 people in there. and we were doing shots. I think that was back when we used to drink Jägermeister.
Ooh.
And I bought shots for the whole bar. The whole bar there was 100 people. I bought shots for the whole bar. I mean, don't get me wrong. I gambled that night and the winning. I spent like $50,000 that night, so it wasn't no money in my pocket. But it's about getting back to the fans, man. That's what I always do, is just try to get back to the fans.
That's awesome.
At the end of the day, if I didn't have my fans, I'd just be another fighter.
Tito, thanks for the time, man. Enjoy the retirement. Enjoy your, recovery there with the family and everybody. And thanks so much for appearing on MMA Junkie Radio.
Thank you, man, and all my fans out there. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. People have had my back for the last 20 years. I appreciate it very, very much. And of course, on social media, you can go to my Instagram, Tito Ortiz 1999. I've been doing the Instagram live on there almost every day. So if people going to ask questions, hop on there. And of course, on Twitter at Tito Ortiz. I'm always there for the fans, man, and I appreciate it so much. I may be out of a cage forever, but I'm not at MMA forever, that's for sure.
That's awesome.
There you go. All right, Tito. Take care, man. Thanks.
All right, guys. Thank you.
All right, we'll see you. All right, folks. That's the People's Champion, Huntington Beach bad boy, Tito Ortiz, former UFC light heavyweight champion and also UFC Hall of Famer. Excellent script on Saturday.
Yeah.
He followed it to a T, and that's a nice way to ride off into the sunset,
for sure.
like Dana White told him in the text. So anyway, again, thank you to Cindy for lining that up. Big assist there, touch of gloves to Cindy. And also JT, he also started things off. I had to go through some channels for some of these big cats, but we got it done. So, tomorrow, do we have a guest yet? Are we lining stuff up?
We're lining stuff up.
We're lining stuff up for tomorrow. And just an early indicator here. For next week, we have Anthony Njokwani coming to the studio. Andrew Simon from Anthony.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Anthony Njokwani. He's fighting at Lion Fight. He's fighting Muay Thai.
No, that's why yesterday I was giving you a look, and I didn't really understand. Okay, now I get it.
Andrew Simon from the president of Access TV. He's going to co-host Wednesday's episode. I believe Pat Miltich is going to co-host Friday's episode. So we got stuff cooking, you know what I mean? It's a fun time. Thank you, Eric.
My pleasure, guys.
For your time as always. Good luck. I hope Caraway has a quick recovery and he can get one of them big fights. Let us know when Nelson's all ready to go, and obviously we'll promote that. And, everybody else, man. It's a great team you got there. And hopefully in 2018, we'll be talking about Extreme Couture for Gym of the Year for 2017.
Appreciate it. February 11th, open house, 10-year anniversary. You guys got to make it by. And we're doing amateur team tryouts that day.
Oh.
So February 11th.
I might sneak in a blast for that. That's a fucking event there.
It's a fun one.
You know what? I'm gonna import one of those Disneyland turkey legs and just sit there and watch.
Oh, and we got to show up with some hot dogs too.
Just bring me some food. No matter what it is, I'll eat it.
For Eric and Goes, and of course Danny for sticking overtime. Thank you, Danny. Back east. I'm George. Go out there, have a nice day, and be champions.